do the FSCS in the background.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to 4-Star Chicago Sports. This is the Barely There podcast, and we got a packed, loaded show for you. We're going to get into all types of things, including Bears camp getting a little chippy. We got our first, what do they call them, scrums of the year, and we got our first game under the leadership of Mr. Ben Johnson. And, of course, we're going to get into fantasy, fact, or fiction. And, of course, we want to hear from you. We want your thoughts on this first tilt. We want to find out what you guys think. Are the Bears back in 85 with these hardcore training camps? We're going to get into all that right after this. Everybody, and like I said, we got a packed show. We're getting into this. I'm really excited because we're just a little bit more than 72 hours away from the Bears' first game with Ben Johnson as head coach. We're gonna have some what do they call these things? Practice squad games, or what do they call them?
Inter squad games,
inter squad, whatever they're called. We're gonna have the Dolphins
practice.
Yeah, joint practice. Thank you. My brain, I'm sorry, guys. I am really tired today. So if I sound like an idiot, it won't sound any different. So no worries. How we doing today, boys? How we doing, Kyle? How we doing, Jay?
I'm doing good. The weather was nice today. We're really close to some more football here. We got that joint practice you were talking about coming up here. I think either tomorrow or Friday or both days. But I think it's going to be interesting to hear what comes out of that. But other than that, man, just feeling good. I left it in a timely fashion, so I got home with time to sleep.
I'm doing good, man. We already got our first comment. Sean, this one's for you. What's up, guys? Sean, you in a better mood today?
Yeah, the Cubs won. Who said that? My boy John S. What's up, Johnny? Super Bowl 26. Oh, it's Erica. Hey, Erica, what's going on? Thanks for jumping in. John, I am in a better mood today. The Cubs bats woke up a little bit, but it's still looking grim as the big outlook, the big picture. But day by day, today's a good day. We won. Fly the W and blah, blah, blah. So,
Erica, how come? Why not Super Bowl Bears 25?
Well, technically, the Super Bowl would be played in 26.
All right, take it easy, Scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got a lot to get into, including the Bears were off today, and boy did they earn it after a 2-hour and 2-minute practice in what was described by most reporters out there as one of the most physical in terms of live hitting since the Lovie Smith era, and it got, what do they say? A brouhaha, chippy, scrappy. They were fighting out there. Roshan Johnson wasn't happy. Jonathan Owens got into it, and then Johnson had to run up and down the sidelines as a punishment for starting the scrap and instilling some discipline. There was the Roma Dunze's helmet got pulled off by a defensive player, and that led to another scrum. But I have a question for you boys. How do you like this? Because what I'm hearing from every single source that was out there, from Brad Biggs to Johns to Hogue to all these guys that were out there, they haven't seen anything like this since Lovie Smith. And I've heard some people say this was the most physical since the 85 Bears practices under Ditka, which we all know how that worked out. It had this team ready, prepared for opening week, which we kind of all felt they were a little soft in that Eberflus era. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't prepared. They were just like at practice, just like, I don't know, playing musical chairs or something. I don't know what they were doing in those practices. But how do you guys feel? Cole Kmet, by the way, did get injured. The report out today said that Mr. Kmet escaped serious injury and is going to be, I believe they said week to week. It's either day to day or week to week, whatever. But I have some other news, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because we got to get into a possible trade with Cole Kmet heading to Jacksonville that popped up today. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. But what do you guys think of this training camp so far and the physicality that's in this training camp?
Well, a lot to digest there. I think it was 3 things there. But honestly, when I'm concerned with Chicago reporters, because if nobody's seen it in 10 years, how come they haven't been reporting about how crappy the coaching's been? If they love this, scrappy new practice look, they haven't said anything for 10 years. They didn't care. It wasn't around. Like, I don't understand it. So it's either just they're like, oh, wow, this is really physical, and I wasn't expecting it, so they're overblowing it because they want to get clicks on whatever shoulder watch or running. But I'm going to take it from Peanut Tillman when he, like I said last week, when he said he saw the offensive line working together and the defense running towards the ball. I think it was scrappy because it was, again, out in front of the lights, in front of what? I think they had like 23,000 people at that fan fest.
You were two of them.
And it was bad. And then now you got a retort basically from the players, because I'm sure Johnson was pissed and I'm sure all the other coaches were pissed at how sloppy it looked. So it's good to see that they're bouncing back. And I think that's the culture that he built in that. I mean, look, I don't know if you're going to have a starting job. He literally said just yesterday, I wouldn't look too deep into the depth chart right now, which means anybody could move. And I think players are taking it seriously because after all, this is their job. This is their livelihood. So they got to work for a job. So I think it's a smart plan by him. I know you risk some injuries, but I mean, it's football. Honestly, the really bad injuries are the no contact ones. So I don't know if contact really is that big of a deal when it comes to injuries. Guys can recover from a broken leg stronger than they were before. But when they're doing a little cut and drills and they blow their knee out, that's when it really hurts a team. Cole Kmet injury, I'm glad to hear he's not seriously hurt. I hope it's day to day and not week to week. I don't know if anybody's going to want to trade from right now. I'm sure he would have to pass a physical. I think you could trade him for somebody. That's great. But I honestly think that they have the personnel that they want at tight end on both sides of the field. So I think Johnson's probably going to hang on unless there's some blockbuster deal they can pull off. But I don't know. We'll see. Kyle, what do you think?
Well, I certainly don't think Cole Kmet's getting traded. Real quick, I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. You guys pretty this early. You got Breaking News, Bruce, John S. Erica's in the house now. Super Bowl Bears 26.
Brandon, what up?
Brandon's in the chat. Chai Will's here. Lindsay's here. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, I don't think Cole Kmet's going anywhere, guys. I mean, when Ben Johnson was asked about the people he trusts the most in this locker room right now, the first name that came out of his mouth was Cole Kmet. And when Sean and I were at Bears Family Fest, there was a lot of mistakes made. One guy who did not make any mistakes and looked like he's a seasoned vet in the NFL was Cole Kmet. He had a really good practice. He's also a leader in the locker room. I like the stash thing he's got going on, by the way, right now, guys, too. But Cole Kmet is important in a different way than Colston Loveland. We talked about this on Monday. Colston Loveland's going to be flashy. He's going to get mostly a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. He's probably going to be their Travis Kelce at some point. I'm not comparing him to Travis Kelce. I'm just saying he's going to be the pass-catching tight end in this offense. Cole Kmet's going to do more of the grunt work. He's going to chip block. Yeah. He's going to play fullbacks from time to time. He will have the occasional catch, too, and I think he's going to be used in the red zone a lot. But I think this is a force to be reckoned with, and these two tight ends on the field at the same time. It's the closest thing I can remember to Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
So I certainly would not get rid of one of these guys. I'm curious what Ben Johnson can do with two tight ends of this pass catching caliber, and I'm excited.
I think he is too.
Yeah, and then you guys, in terms of that practice yesterday, just how physical it was. I mean, when you're looking at this coaching staff, this new coaching staff under Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen, what you're looking for are changes, right? Because obviously what the Bears have been doing for the last 20 years isn't working. So you want to see as much different as you possibly can from the previous coaching staffs. When you listen to their pressers after that practice, every single player, they were like, is this the most physical practice you've had this year? They're like, this is the most physical practice I've ever had in my life. They're like, Ben Johnson came in the locker room and he was like, it's go time, boys. We're playing live football today. You guys are going to play football against each other. And they were hitting each other. Like Sean said, helmets were getting ripped off. They were getting scrappy. They were starting to yell at each other. A couple of guys got punished, were sent to the sideline to run. Although, Sean, I don't know if you heard or not, Roschon Johnson, when he was asked about that, was like, no, That wasn't punishment. I was finishing a rep. That's what he said.
I missed that.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he was fibbing in that situation. He didn't want to be the guy who was called out in practice. But yeah, it's refreshing, and it's nice to see that these guys are getting ready for tackle football. If you heard Tyreek Stevenson say when they're like, "What's the benefit to playing such a physical practice?" He was like, "Well, we just get all the rust out of the way. You know, it's like you're getting calloused up. We're not going to miss tackles in the regular season. We're going to be ready to play regular season football by the time it comes here." I've been saying this for years, guys. I didn't like when the NFL started limiting tackle practices in the first place. I think it makes the product less fun to enjoy. I don't think it makes it as enjoyable.
The first 2 weeks of the season suck because nobody's ready to play football.
It's a very sloppy. They miss tackles. They're not as fast. The game speed slowed down. I mean, it just looks bad. I think that they should go back to these padded practices on every single practice and hitting each other every single day. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. If anything, I think it's probably going to become more and more or less physical as time goes on. But I'm happy to see that the Bears are in such a physical practice this early in the process.
Yeah, and the one thing I did take away was, well, let's get into this really quick. And this thing. I'm sorry it's so small. I just kicked it. This is from Christopher Knox, who thinks the Bears should be proposing this. He's proposing this trade. Komet to Jacksonville for a 3rd and 5th round pick. You guys, you can Google Cole Komet trade, SI. He wrote a whole article about it. If there's some truth to it, I think this is just the guy looking for clicks. And I'm with you guys. I think that Ben wants both of these guys here. And I did just Google his injury. The only thing I saw was he avoided serious injury. Doesn't say how long he's going to be out day to day, week to week. If someone does run across that, please throw it in the chat. I just tried to find it, and I could not. And then we had the depth chart ahead of this preseason game. And, you know, for me, the depth chart is what it is. It's names on a piece of paper. I'm not taking this very seriously at all. I've seen a lot of people freaking out about having Kyle Monangai fifth on the depth chart, and some of these other guys that
Luther Burden's 5th wide receiver.
Yeah, like guys, you know, it's an unofficial, ridiculous. You know who else? I was looking at other depth charts.
You can put any rookies up there, dude. All the rookies are like basically bottom line. Sure. I think that's maybe an ode to the veterans and like a warning letter to the rookies. Like, hey, you still got room to grow, so keep working.
Yeah, and when you go around the league, RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson, these guys are listed on the 5th string. I guarantee you, Caleb Johnson starting and RJ Harvey is splitting carries with J.K. Dobbins come week 1. So,
and then starting when J.K. Dobbins gets hurt,
and starting when J.K. Dobbins gets hurt. You know what? That's the other thing, Phil. I didn't find anything
in the video. It looks like an ankle.
In the video, it does, but they didn't say. Yeah, there's not, and again, they don't have to put anything out because there's no gambling involved at this point. As soon as gambling kicks in, we're going to know everything.
He walked off the field too, so it's not like it.
He just got his own power. But you can tear your ACL and PCL or LCL and walk off the field. So
I was hoping it wasn't like some weird concussion thing like we dealt with last year. You know, next thing you know, the guy misses 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's it. Again, it looks like
the article I read today, guys, or the little snapshot I read today about his injury is they used the word minor like 3 times. So I'm not concerned. I talked about this with Sean when Sean told me about the Cole Komet injury. I'm like, dude, remember last year we were in the fantasy draft and everybody was like, Kyle, you're taking Jahmyr Gibbs. He didn't play in training camp with that hamstring. The guy never missed a snap during the regular season. Training camp, they just don't care. They're like, hey, man, guys who have been here for a long time, they know how to play the game. They're seasoned vets. If they're banged up in any way, shape, or form, set this one out.
Yeah, you need them for the regular season. So you know what? We're going to give you an extra week, dude. I know you say you're ready, but there's no need for us to rush you in there. Let's go back.
I don't think most of these veterans don't need live practice snaps to learn the new system. Right. Now, obviously, the timing with the quarterback is important to be on the field, but when it comes to learning the playbook, they're so used to the NFL and how it all works that they can just study and be in the classroom and they can pick up this offense pretty
right. If you have good technique, you just got to know where to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they've been taught the footwork and
The assignment in
foundation.
week 1 seems to be getting a little easier because you won't have Jordan Addison, and we'll just keep an eye on this Justin Jefferson hamstring and see how ramped up he is for week 1. Because regardless of the fact, I do think that Jalen Johnson missing all of this camp will probably need a couple of weeks to ramp up. And I'd say maybe weeks 1 or 2 might be the best time to take advantage of a ramping up Jalen Johnson. Just my opinion. But Clay Harbor had something interesting today. He said he was out of training camp, and he said, I have been in training camps with Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, and Sean Payton. Today's training camp reminded me of one of those old school gritty, hard-nosed camp days. Extremely intense practice for the Bears, but I will tell you this is how tough physical teams are built. And I agree with that sentiment exactly, and that's why I copy and pasted it, because this is the one thing. We were wondering about all these injuries, and if you go back to 1985, and you're looking Dicka's practices, 84, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, they were fucking hard-nosed guys.
Well, you can't do that anymore.
You can't do that. You can't do that anymore. But when you look at what Ben Johnson's doing right now, these are apparently
he's trying to get as close as possible. But the
Correct.
NFL just made so many rules when they made an agreement with the Players Association that they were trying so hard to protect these players. And you know what? I don't think the NFL is going to put up much of a fight because these guys are becoming very expensive assets as the time goes on here. I mean, these guys are now getting paid $500, $600, $700 million. They want to protect these guys as well. But I do believe there's some validity that if you're not hitting each other in practice, you're not used to it week 1, week 2. And I think that's why you see that sloppy football for the first couple weeks of the season. It's not helping the product as a fan. I understand why the NFL and the Players Association is doing it, but it's not helping the product as if you're an NFL fan watching football on Sunday.
Yeah. During the regular season, you don't want guys having padded practice because they're about to go play their butts off on a Sunday or whatever day it is. So you really want them to get as much rest because they probably just played a game too where they got beat up. So you don't need it during the regular season, but I think it's really integral, once or twice a week to have these fully padded practices, maybe an hour or 2 at a time where these guys are playing hard. I mean, it just gets them ready for football. I guarantee they did it in high school. I guarantee, depending on what college they did, they probably did it too. Maybe not so more now with, all the NIL money flying around. But, you did it in Pee Wee League. I mean, I remember practices. You bring your pads. You're wearing pads and you're playing. That's what you do every time you practice. So I don't think it's uncommon for them. And I get how you want to protect your assets. But I also think Kyle is spot on. You need these guys literally ready for week 1. Otherwise, why have a preseason at all? What's the point?
Yeah, and Sean and I interviewed Doug Plank once, and he talked about this. He's like, what these guys go through now today is absolutely a joke compared to what we went through 30, 40, 50 years ago. He's like, listen, you have to get calloused up. It doesn't matter what league you play in. It doesn't matter if you're in high school, college, NFL. You have to get calloused up. You have to get hit a couple times before you go in a regular season game, because when you get in the regular season game, these guys want to kill you. They want to absolutely kill you. So you got to be used to taking those hits so you don't have to go shake it off on the sideline. He talked about it. He's like, and these guys are getting paid more than ever. And the more they get paid, the less physical this league becomes. He's like, it's just crazy to me. I'm like, yeah, but it's like David Lugo says right here. I'll say it again. It's all about protecting your assets. These guys make way more money now than they did in the 80s, and they don't want these guys getting hurt. But I like what Ben Johnson's doing. He's like, hey, guys, let's give 100% in practice, but don't hit each other for 4 or 5 days. And then day 6, all right, guys, this is live gameplay. Let's go. Let's go play. Let's see how you guys are playing a real football game. And they're about to play the Miami Dolphins, so now's a good time to do it. Because I can tell you this, when the Miami Dolphins go to hit the Chicago Bears in that joint practice on Friday, they're going to go 100%.
And the Bears are going to be ready. And the Bears are going to be ready. And this is going to be exciting. I can't wait to see some film from that, because there's a lot of things that I want to see, especially, obviously, number 18 under center, Caleb Williams, how he is against another team. And obviously, and still no indication. McDaniel said today that he was going to make a decision on whether Tua and his starters will play after the joint practices. I tried to find something on Ben Johnson about anything about what he was going to play. I have not seen anything. So I would assume that maybe Caleb Williams isn't going to play, but maybe if these joint practices don't go well, maybe we will see Caleb Williams on Saturday.
We know for a fact.
Excuse me.
we know for a fact the Bears Dolphins practice is going to get interesting because what did you tell me today about the other joint practices going on in the NFL?
Oh
today?
yeah, the joint
A
practice.
lot of brawls.
Oh my god, dude! Hey, guys, go on Twitter and watch some of these joint practices.
Mike Vrabel left the pile bleeding. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
You like
He
left the
jumped
scrum
in. He
bleeding?
jumped in the scrum. Apparently, the Eagle or the Patriots and the Redskins got into it hardcore, and Mike Vrabel spared no regard. Man, he gave no fucks. He jumped right in. They said he came out with blood dripping down his face. Like that's a coach you're gonna go play for. Who was the other one I told you?
Thank God, Jason. Thank God it wasn't the Cowboys and the Redskins. So we'd be canceled. Commanders, God damn it.
Yeah, and then what you call it? They got the Colts. The Colts. I can't remember who their joint practice was, but that video from there was the entire both rosters fighting and the coaching staffs. Absolutely craziness going on.
Look at Brennan's comment here. Tyreek is going to be interesting. Yes, it is. I can see that one becoming a scrum pretty quickly.
Yeah, and
I want to hear those two mic'd up. To be honest with you,
that would be fun. That would be fun.
I liked Ben Johnson's presser why he explained why he chose these teams, the Bills and the Dolphins, why he chose these teams to practice to play in the preseason. I liked the whole. Did you guys hear that?
I
did not actually. What did he say?
Well, he's like this, the Dolphins are just known for speed. They're a speed team, and I'd like to see how we match up against them at this point in the offseason. And he's like, the Bills are a perennial Super Bowl contender, and it's a really good team. Iron sharpens iron. We picked the best teams we thought that would match up with our skill set. A bad matchup for us, so we could play them and see where we can improve. And that's awesome.
Don't you use a sharpening stone to sharpen iron? I don't know. I've never really liked that thing. If you want to sharpen a knife with another knife, you go right ahead, but it ain't gonna fucking work. I don't know. I think it's smart by him, and we were talking about this a week or 2 weeks ago, Kyle and Sean, that this coaching staff is thinking ahead. I mean, everything that they do has purpose and meaning. Even these joint practices, it's not simply like, oh, well, you haven't played them before. Oh, the coach over there is my buddy, so might as well come on over. We'll run a joint practice or whatever. He literally wants to see how his team matches up, so he can adapt now before the season starts. Yeah. And he's absolutely right. The Bills are a monster team. You might have to, if you're going to be in the Super Bowl in recent years and coming up years here, probably going to be a team that you might see in the Super Bowl. So, really important to get a hone in on them. And maybe he just wants to, go up against and see that just some of that personnel that's really good. And, I bet he has specific matchups in mind that he wants to look at. I don't think he's simply thinking about Tyreek Hill and Tyreek Stevenson. I think he's thinking more about A-Chain and how, their DBs are actually pretty good. How are we going to match up with them now? Plus it's a modern offense. I don't know if they're going to be that good this year. I hope they are, but it's a really modern offense, and it'll be really interesting to see how they pair up. I mean, look, it's a preseason game, so who cares if they win or lose? But I think he's thinking about, I have a lot of decisions to make roster-wise. So what are these young guys like? I know Miami's fast, so if these guys can't keep up with them, all right, I'm going to get rid of this guy, and this guy. So again, just a really brilliant chess move. Every move he makes is a chess move that you've never seen before. So I love it.
Did you guys see?
Real quick, I'm sorry. Ron's joined the show. Laz has joined
Ron?
the show.
Illinois Jones?
Trey has joined. Illinois Jones changed his picture. Is that Trump getting shot in the ear?
That is, I think.
The one thing that was really cool. Did you guys happen to see that after practice with Baldinger and Stacey Dales?
Yes.
That 8 minutes. And they asked, give us two things. Ask Caleb, give us two things about Ben Johnson. And he turns around and goes, he lives by two simple things: smash mouth football, then new and innovative football. I was like, that's pretty awesome. And we're going to see a lot of stuff because I'll be honest, Kyle. I mean, we have it. That misdirection play was genius. And I mean, I'm sure
And the more comfortable these guys get in this offense, the more of that stuff you're going to see. And you're not going to see that stuff in the preseason, guys. Anybody who thinks like, oh, this preseason, we're going to see all these pitches and reverses, and like, he's not. It's going to be very vanilla. It's going to look like a 1980s offense. But come regular season, you heard Richard Hightower say it. Like, you're not going to see any of this stuff in the preseason, but we promise we got some crazy stuff up our sleeves. And even Ben Johnson's been helping Richard Hightower out, writing up new plays. I mean, this is going to be. Listen, like you guys heard me say this in the podcast before. I don't know what the Bears' record is going to be. I certainly am not picking them to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be fun to watch at some point in the season when everything starts to slow down for them a little bit. It's going to be really fun, and that's the first time in a very long time I can say that about the Chicago Bears offense, because it's usually torture.
I miss Erica. Real Bears fans missing Erica. He's upset about the name change. Tom G, what's going on? What's going on, brother? Hey, man, you guys are on fire in the chat. We got a lot to talk about, so fire away the questions. We're going to get to them. We really appreciate y'all being with us on this Wednesday, 72 hours ahead of the Chicago Bears and Miami Dolphins. From what I understood yesterday, or from today, Brad Biggs on the score this morning said he thinks that tomorrow is going to be a very, very light walkthrough practice. He had no confirmation. He said that's what he's assuming ahead of Friday's joint practice with the Miami Dolphins, which should be
that's going to be fully padded. So that one's going to be probably a fight, like we just saw everyone else have.
Too, the one thing that I took away is, Kyle, when we were there on Sunday at Soldier Field, we saw Kyle Monangai score 4 touchdowns and goal line work. Mm-hmm. Well, yesterday it was reported that he was exclusively with the threes behind Roschon Johnson. Roschon Johnson got all the goal line work and scored like 6 touchdowns in practice during goal line work yesterday. So I really started thinking about this. And to start the season, obviously, for me, Swift's going to be the lead back, and this is how I think it's going to break down unless Monangai can carve in and Roschon Johnson turns out to be a bust. I think Roschon's going to start off with the goal line work, and Monangai is going to come in as your change of pace back. Now, I don't have any confirmation of this. I think Monangai is carving out a role on this football team, but I don't necessarily think he's going to just overtake come week 1, maybe the first quarter of the season, 1 through 4, that he'll just overtake Roschon Johnson. He's going to have to earn it. What are your guys' thoughts on that little running back situation? Because I thought it was interesting that when we were there on Sunday, it was all Monangai, and then the next day, the next practice, it's all Roschon Johnson. So
and Bears, I feel like Bears fans are looking for these 2 names to stick out. You guys, this is going to be by committee. It's going to be by committee. Roschon Johnson's never going to be taken out of this offense. Neither is Kyle Monangai nor DeAndre Swift. All of these guys are going to get playing time. Now, Sean, if those guys accumulate certain roles throughout the season, like you said, like, hey, Roschon, if we're at the 1-yard line, you're in. Hey, Kyle Monangai, if it's 3rd and 3 from the 25, you're in. Hey, Swift, if it's 3rd and 13 and we're passing the ball, you're in. But I do think that certain strengths and weaknesses will dictate what times they're on the field. Like, for instance, DeAndre Swift's not very good at pass protection. Kyle Monangai's, by all accounts, one of the best pass protectors already. Like, he's got a highlight film of pass protection. I've never seen that before. I think at some point you will start to see certain roles emerge, but this is going to be running back by committee. And the fact that Kyle Monangai is 3rd on the depth chart, you guys, that means nothing to me in any way, shape, or form. Especially when you're talking about positions like defensive line and running back that are rotational positions. Like, basically what you're saying the starter is the guy who took the first snap of the game. Like, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, preseason, absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, I think Travis Homer was listed ahead of him too. But honestly, I think Ian Wheeler and Travis Homer were both above. But I think it's a rookie thing. I think it's just a rookie thing. If you look at it, all the rookies are like dead last on the chart, except for Trapillo. But I think Trapillo is just too damn good. But Trapillo's not the starter. You know what I mean? So Luther Burden, he's been tearing it up in camp, and he's literally the 5th. Tyler Scott was actually above him on the one that I saw earlier today. It really doesn't matter. I don't really think. I think your defense is probably spot on what you're seeing right there for the starters. I think that's probably more accurate, but offense, I don't think Ben Johnson's mind is made up, and it could be very possible that at multiple positions we see platooning going on. There might be plays that you don't see DJ Moore or Roma Dunze in there.
And you guys, sorry, we got a real couple questions in the chat here already. I hope I answered your question, Tom, when it comes to how many games will it take for Roschon or Montgomery or one guy to take over Roshan
Yeah.
the Montgomery role. I just don't think. I mean, maybe Montgomery will get more of the carries, more percentage of the carries at some point, but I think these guys are all going to play a role in this team throughout the rest of this 2025 season. And Ron says, are the Bears trading for Micah Parsons? Ron, we talked about a lot about this on Monday. The answer unanimously was no, because I don't think he's leaving the Cowboys.
I really want them to, though.
Sean,
Yeah.
Sean, this is a good question for you because we all know that you're a huge Roshan fan. Vernon says, and there's two here. I'm gonna string them together, all right? Vernon says, real question is, what do you do if Roshan snaps? And then Illinois Jones says, Rojo was supposed to be excellent in pass pro out of Texas. Has he been that good?
He actually has been pretty good at pass pro, and the Bears used him in that role a lot last year, and I think you're going to see him in that role again. I really still believe that Roshan Johnson's a complete back, and to Brandon, I do think he's going to snap this year. Just watching him in practice, I mean, he was bouncing off a contact and gaining extra yards. He's a hard-nosed runner. I think Kyle Monangai, like we were just saying, I think he's going to carve out a role as maybe a change of pace back, like Kyle said, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, short distance. He's going to put his head down. But as I say that, I also could see that being Roshan Johnson's role too, because what was he successful at? He put his head down inside the 5 last year and was 100% on those opportunities last year. So you have two guys that fit that bill, but I think you're going to see Roshan Johnson evolve this year in this offense. I don't know about his hands as far as being a great pass catcher. I do know he's one hell of an athlete. He used to be a quarterback, converted to a running back. He actually went to college as a quarterback and got converted due to Texas having so many injuries at the position. So he's still virtually a very young running back as well, as far as his age and time spent at the position. So I wrote a piece on 4starchicagosports.com called The Curious Case of Roshan Johnson, and I do believe that Roshan Johnson will snap. And I think he's going to carve out a nice role. But even if he does, I don't think that exiles Kyle Monangai. I do think that he's going to be that tough runner in between the tackles on short yardage situations at some point during the season. Now, he has to get in that circle of trust. And I know that everyone was like, oh, he's in the circle of trust. If you listen to what Ben Johnson said, what he really said, he said he thinks he's a guy that could become part of the circle of trust. He did not anoint him. So, with that being said, he still has work to do. And as he said in that postseason or that post interview after they were at Soldier Field, he took the wrong route. He missed a couple of assignments. So Kyle Monangai still has some learning to do to become that circle of trust. And I think that's where Roshan's ahead of him right now.
Rookies are always integrated in the offense. Kyle Monangai is not going to get 20 carries week 1. Like, that's not going to happen.
Unless there's a devastating injury.
To answer Brennan's question, what if Roshan snaps? Well, that's great for the Bears, and that running room moves up my rankings a lot. That running back room moves up a lot because DeAndre Swift is a very capable playmaker in the NFL. He can't do everything that some running backs can do, but he's a really good playmaker, especially if you get him in open space. If Roshan Johnson becomes the guy that they thought he was going to be when they drafted him out of Texas in the 4th round, that's a good problem to have. The more mouths to feed is a good problem to have in the NFL. And, especially at the running back room, because you guys, let's face it, running backs and offensive linemen get hurt a lot. It happens a lot. So the more you have, the better the scenario for the Chicago Bears. And Sean, I don't know if I believe that Roshan Johnson is going to be the guy we thought he was when he was drafted, but I certainly think he's better than he's looked on this Bears offense under Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron and the previous coaching staff, because I don't think anybody met their full potential under that coaching staff. So why would we believe that Roshan did?
Well, I'll tell you what I want. I think and I hope the improvement in the running back room, I think is partly, I hope that they're doing better on their own, but I think it's partly and maybe majorly due to really Johnson assembling and Poles assembling one of the best run blocking offensive lines in the NFL right now. I'm hoping that whoever you put back there is good, I think that's what the main reason why Montgomery is so good. That's what a good offensive line does for you. You play for a shitty line, you're an okay serviceable back. You go behind a really good offensive line, now you're a stud. That's what I'm hoping for, because moving forward, you're right, Kyle, running backs get hurt all the time, and that's why a lot of teams like 2 running backs. I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson this year just keeps using all of those guys until he finds his guy that can do everything.
Or you play the hot hand, right?
Yeah,
Play
no,
behind
that
him,
too. Yeah.
like you do in baseball. If you got two catchers and one of them's on fire, you play him until he cools off, and then you play the other catcher. Like it's the same thing in the NFL. And to answer this question here, how many running backs make this roster? I'd say at least 4.
Yeah, I
At
think
least
you're right.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can
well,
at least
Travis
put
Homer,
one or
Travis
two on
Homer,
the
Travis
special
Homer
teams.
is apparently a lock for the Chicago
Yeah,
Bears every year for
because
some
Richard Hightower loves him. That's
Yeah.
reason. So
You need leaders on special teams too, though. You
yeah,
know?
Don. I don't think anybody in this podcast has ever claimed that Hutchinson is not a good player. I think we all know he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he has a very good chance to win Defensive Player of the Year.
And,
he's in the
and
conversation.
I will say this and get this out really quick. After practice, obviously Brian Baldinger and Stacey Dales were doing their camp tours, and they were at practice yesterday. They sat down with Montez Sweat afterwards. It's about 7.5 minutes. For anyone doubting where that guy's headspace is and what kind of season that he could potentially have, go listen to him and what he said. He loves this. Number one, loves this defense. Number two, wrist, hand, and ankle injuries last year are all better. He's playing at 100%. He talked about he was banged up as can be last year. And I know there's a lot of doubt in some people that don't believe in Montez Sweat can be that guy.
He got beat up. They had nobody on the outside. He had the two injuries. Yeah, I mean, the interior of the defensive line was terrible because of injuries. I mean, he got a really bad rap for last year. I really do believe that. I mean, he came off a season where he was the leading sack. He was a sack leader for 2 different teams in the same season. I mean, that's a really good season. I know he didn't have 50 sacks or whatever, but that's a good season, man. It was double digits. He was good.
It's not the type of player he is. He's never going to have 22 sacks. It's not going to. He's not going to set the NFL record for sacks. He's a guy who's good at everything. That's why they wanted Montez Sweat here, because he's good. He can stop the run. He can plug holes. He can get after the quarterback. He can even drop back into coverage. You absolutely need it. I mean, it's not ideal, but of all the defensive linemen that do, I think Montez Sweat would probably be one of the best. I mean, what was Sean? Who got dropped into coverage in that Browns game 2 years ago?
Oh, that was the defensive lineman.
The tackle.
The tackle, covering David Njoku. Who was that?
I forgot, but after the interview after the game, he was like, "Why are you dropping me in coverage? I'm 350 pounds."
That's a question you got to ask the coach.
That was the guy from the Chargers, the guy we signed from the Chargers.
Yeah, and just so you know, his pressures when he came to the Bears went from 22nd in takeaways to 11th. 23rd to 12th in yards allowed, 28th to 21st in points allowed. And he respectively came in, had 39 pressures, which ranked 5th in all defenders, 11 hurries, 12 knockdowns. Those were 5th and 6th respectively in those categories. He had a down year. It happens. It happens all the time. You can go to any sport, and you're going to have a player that's going to have a down year. He was banged up, as Jay just alluded to. There was nobody else on this defense. This guy's playing through multiple injuries. This guy is an absolute beast. And I would not be surprised if he returns this year to that 9 to 12 sack mark, setting the edge, and becomes one of the top run defenders again at the edge position for the Chicago Bears. I have my eyes set high on Montez Sweat in 2025 for the Chicago Bears.
That's 100% reasonable. You revamp the interior of your line and they're healthy. I think you've got a very good rotation. I'd like to see maybe one more guy in there in the center. We still have some questions on the other side of the ball, but if we're developing those ends like we think they are, and Deo is as good as we hope he is, I think the biggest moves were the interior of the line. The interior of the line helps everything, every part of the defense. It's just like the offense, right? Your center and your guards, everything runs through them. It's just like it's the same with I think they have 5 starting linemen technically for Sunday, which is interesting. And I think Montez Sweat said that, hey, they're probably going to be 3, 4, and 5 lineman sets going on. So, I think it's very plausible he could have 10 sacks, and that's not going to make him maybe a Pro Bowler, but he might not make the Pro Bowl with that. But if you got Deo with another 8 or 9 sacks, and you've got Grady Jarrett with 6 sacks, and then you've got Jerron Dexter with another 5 or 6. I mean, dude, all of a sudden now we have a really good defense.
It's going to be sacked by committee, and the best thing about Dennis Allen is he schemes these blitzes so well. And I know he doesn't blitz a ton, but they just never know where it's coming from. So you're going to see Kyler Gordon get sacks. You're going to see Jermaine Edmonds get sacks. You're going to see T.J. Edwards get sacks.
That too, yeah.
And you're going to see like you said, Jason, the plethora of defensive linemen will have a handful of sacks. Then you'll have your two guys who hopefully, Montez can get 10, 11, 12, and maybe Deo can add 9, 10, somewhere around there. But yeah, there's not a TJ Watt is not on this defense. He's not. Trey Hendrickson's not on this defense. Myles Garrett's not on this defense. The Bears have a bunch of guys who can play football, but none of them are superstars. And that's okay. That's okay. The Eagles outside of Jalen Carter, their defensive ends last year weren't amazing, and they won the Super Bowl, and they did it through their defensive line. So
all of them were just equally dominant, and they rotated in and out. So yeah, it's really key. And Sean, you hit it on the head earlier, dude. I'm actually really excited just to see some of the formations and alignments on offense and defense. I think it's going to be exciting to see at some point. Maybe, I hope week 1, but we're probably looking mid to late season. And as long as we see that sort of upward climb, I'm happy with it. You know what I mean? I'm very happy with it.
Hey, really quick too. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they had that video of Kwani B. He grabbed Roshan, spun him in a circle, threw him out of bounds, and then went and talked smack right in Ben Johnson's face. And Ben Johnson just kind of laughed it off. I thought it was really awesome. He's got his swagger back, and it's going to be a big question for him because this is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a contract year, and the Bears are going to have to make a big decision. So I hope Kwani B can stay solid, have a solid year, and get at least, say, 14 to 16 games out of him. Everyone may miss a game here or there, but man, if he can stay healthy, that is going to be very huge for the Bears this season. And on top of that, we had somebody in here just a couple of minutes ago ask us, what are the weaknesses that we feel are still on this team? Who was that? He actually had a pretty good question. No, I can't find it now. But he was asking, and for me, I still think your left tackle, your linebackers are still questions. Your running back room's still a question. I wouldn't necessarily say weaknesses. I would say question marks. What do you guys feel about that?
I think it hasn't changed since the beginning. I mean, it's the secondary depth. It's the linebacker position. It's who's on the other side for the edge. How's that going to work out? And even though the running back room seems to be doing very well, to me, that's still a big question. And I guess last but least, Caleb. Is Caleb going to be the quarterback we hope and think he is? I mean, I don't think it's really changed since the beginning of spring training. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important question mark on this roster, or I guess you call it a whole, if you want, because we don't really know any of these positions and how good any of these guys are, like Ozzie Trapilo. Yeah. But yeah, left tackle is certainly the most important question mark going into the season. But I agree with Sean. Running back 2 is a question mark. I think that's cornerback 2 is a question mark. Obviously, outside linebacker is a question mark, especially if any of our linebackers get injured. Then you got a big question mark there. But I mean, for the most part, I do think the Bears have gotten better, have gotten more depth. And Sean and I talked about this when we were at practice. I mean, this is the first season in a while that the Bears have created competition inside training camp. I mean, there's actually guys who could take other guys' jobs because we have multiple good guys at the same position. It's been a long time since we've seen that. But yeah, I'm hoping that even the holes that we have on this roster, which you guys, every NFL team has holes in the roster. Every NFL team. The good teams, the good coaches are
the exception of the Eagles.
The good teams are just good at disguising it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're just good at disguising it. And, you could probably find a hole on the Eagles roster somewhere or something they consider a weak link, but they're just really good at disguising it. I think Ben Johnson's that type of coach.
Yeah. And, we got anthropology in the house, and what's going on, brother? We're here to battle off your negativity once again on the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. I still don't understand your hatred towards the guy. I explained to you the other day that I didn't want him here either. I did not want him. I wanted a different quarterback out of that draft. But he's here.
I don't think he cares one bit about Caleb or this podcast. I think he cares about, people replying to him so he can keep going.
Yeah. Jared and I turned the ball over 5 times. Sorry, I'm just trying to get.
Illinois Jones asked, "What do you guys think the Bears' record is going to be after the first two games, both division games? Obviously, Minnesota and Detroit." Jared, Illinois. I'm sorry, I have to go 1-1. I know that sounds pessimistic. I would like to say 2-0, but I'm going to go 1-1. I think they win in Chicago and lose in Detroit. Squeegee says, "This whole process is taking time to come together, but I do have faith that Poles will get the job done. He spent 13 years in KC and watched them build a dynasty." That's a good point. Yeah, he said he comes from a very successful, well-ran organization. Don Burr's obviously talking about the Lions, as always.
We love you, Don.
Breaking news, Bruce has them at 1-1, and Erica's got them at 2-0, so she's the optimistic Bears fan.
Well, she's got that Super Bowl fever going on over there, so Erica's in the house.
We talked about it yesterday. I think it's the best time to play those two teams for us right now because we've got no Jordan Addison. We were talking about in the green room there. It might have a hammy injury to Justin Jefferson, and you got a rookie quarterback essentially starting. And then, for the Lions, they're really going to be in week 2 of really new coaching staff. And, I think they'll be fine, which is why that's the loss I'm assuming you guys are thinking of, like I am. But if you're going to face them, you want to try to beat them as soon as you can early on in the season, because by week 10 or 12, whatever we play them again, they're going to be firing on all cylinders, and it's going to be too late.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that they could go in and compete against Detroit, but
well, they did last year.
They did last year
in Detroit.
It's a year-to-year thing, and I shouldn't say compete, beat Detroit, because I think the Bears are going to be able to compete with everybody on their schedule. Getting the win is a completely different story, but I think they will be competing with everybody that they're playing against on this very tough schedule that they have. They're not going to be the New England Patriots, Chicago Bears at Soldier Field, or the Arizona game in Arizona last year. You're not going to see those piss poor efforts out of this football team.
No.
With Ben Johnson and this coaching staff. And that's
Swaggy McNolegs has 2 ties in the first 2 games. That would be, if you bet that on FanDuel and that hits, you're a millionaire, my friend. Dude. You are a millionaire, my friend.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into some fantasy fact or fiction, so I don't want.
Dennis Allen doesn't actually Dennis Allen does not blitz a whole lot. That's just not what he does. He wants pressure with the guys up front. And if you look at it statistically, he's just a low blitzer. He may blitz them a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe he decides this is what he wants to do now. But historically speaking, he's not a heavy blitzer.
No, he's not. He finished the last 2 years. I think he finished 27th and 21st or something like that.
Yeah.
And you guys, Tom G says the last time the Lions played home, they got embarrassed. Obviously, the playoff game against Washington. Brennan says that the trick game is going to mean a lot to Ben, which means it's going to mean a lot to the players. I agree with that 100%.
I agree with that, Brandon.
They're going to stick up for their coach no matter what. They're going to fight for their coach. Yeah, I don't. Breaking news, Bruce said he saw that J.J. McCarthy was named the starter. I don't think that's happened yet. I don't think so. I think it's still a competition there. I think best case scenario for Minnesota is J.J. McCarthy starts. I mean, you drafted this guy to be your franchise quarterback, and he's already lost a year of his rookie contract. So, yeah, you probably want to see what he's made of right now if you're the Minnesota Vikings. But I think if they think he still needs a few more weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, for the NFL to slow down for him to get accumulated to this league, I think that they would be willing to start Sam Howell, thinking he could go 2-3-2, 2-2, and then JJ McCarthy could come in week 5 or 6.
So what Bruce is reading, guys, is they did announce McCarthy as a starter for the first preseason game, not for the season.
Not for the
season. That was via the Pioneer Press and Newsweek. Now, I know you guys may disagree with me on this 110%. I personally think that Sam Howell would be best if Minnesota wants to compete, because
but only to a point, right? Like at some point,
you got. Well, look at Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got him to 15-2.
Yeah, but you also got to. You got to use JJ McCarthy while he's still on this rookie contract. Like, you don't want to be like 3 years of sitting on the bench and you're like, oh, let's see what we got in JJ McCarthy. So yeah, like I said, if they feel like JJ McCarthy's not ready to win now going into week 1, they could play Sam Howell for 4, 5, 6 games until they feel like JJ McCarthy's learned the playbook and then bring him in. But JJ McCarthy, guys, remember, he's already been there for a year and it's the same coach. So he should know this playbook pretty damn well by now.
I will say this, and if you guys, I'm a Twitter nut, and I have everyone's training camp popping on my phone whenever they release videos or footage or whatever. So I'm getting in all these training camps, and I'm watching Minnesota, and I'm just watching JJ McCarthy And okay, it's preseason. We're not talking about interceptions, this and that. They're trying to figure things out. Whatever. He is literally sailing balls in drills over wide open receivers with nobody in front of him. These are out there. You guys can find them. It is very interesting to see that from him. And I'm really, really hoping that he does start, because I will probably make a bet that the Bears have 3 interceptions in the home opener, because his accuracy is not that good. And that may be one reason why Jim Harbaugh didn't want to play him at Michigan. And there was games where he only attempted 7 passes. I'm just saying.
And the added pressure on top of it, guys. I mean, listen, it's one thing to play at home at noon on opening week when there's 5 other games going on, but you're on Monday Night Football in Chicago. The lights are brighter than they're ever going to be in your career. Week 1, the whole world's been waiting for football. Everybody's going to watch that Monday night game. Every football fan in the world. And JJ McCarthy, if he goes out and lays an egg, that's all you're going to read about the next day. And anything in NFL, include anything in Minnesota,
rough Tuesday in Minneapolis.
It's going to be like, oh, is this guy a bust? We drafted the wrong guy. He's had a year to learn. He still looks like shit. But I'm telling you, man, the pressure of playing in Chicago against what I think is going to be a more aggressive defense than it was last year. I'm not talking about blitz percentage. I'm talking about how they disguise their blitzes. They're going to attack this rookie quarterback if he plays week 1 for sure, no doubt about it. Why wouldn't you?
Brandon said it. If the coverage is there, whatever, and it's he's right. Dennis Allen will blitz if the opportunity is there and he sees it's working.
Well, Burnham was saying, if this defensive line struggles to find sacks, Dennis Allen will make adjustments, unlike other coaches we've seen in the past, and he'll find creative ways to get sacks. I agree with that 100%. Cause I feel like coaches here in the past, a la Matt Eberflus, were unwilling to make adjustments. I mean, you guys, you're on a 10-game losing streak. It's time to change something. Time to change something. But I think Dennis Allen will be more than willing to make adjustments in the middle of the season.
And to your point here, Don, I'm not being a homer. I've seen a couple of dimes that he's dropped in practice. I've also seen about 50 interceptions that he's thrown in drills and doesn't look that great. So
it's just tough to start your career off.
And that doesn't mean he's not going to be good.
It doesn't. It doesn't mean he's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I can just go off of what I'm looking at him right now. I mean, you can call me a homer all you want. I'm watching him on Twitter sail passes in drills. It's Jalen Naylor going across the middle. They ran it 3 times. He overthrew him 3 times. There's no one in front of him. He's playing catch, and he can't throw the ball to a wide open guy. I mean, come on. I'm not being a homer. And like Kyle said, this doesn't mean he's not going to be good. It is practice. We're not putting all this on Caleb Williams because of practice and saying he's going to suck this year either. But J.J. McCarthy has never done this in the NFL before. He's also very limited in his college skill set. And there was also an interesting piece on NFL Network the other day when they were talking about J.J. McCarthy. And they were saying when they were talking about the quarterbacks coming into this draft, there weren't teams piling on to get J.J. McCarthy. There was actually nobody trying to get J.J. McCarthy besides the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe Kevin O'Connell sees something in him. He's a great head coach. He knows, obviously, how to make quarterbacks succeed because he turned that lemon into lemonade last year and Sam Darnold. But I don't know. Time will tell. We will see.
Yeah, and real quick, guys, Dante, V-Dog, Notorious, all in the chat here. Ron, obviously, everybody we've mentioned already. Thank you so much, Don. Thanks for being here, guys. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We have 50 people watching live here. So if you're watching on Twitter, go over to our YouTube page if you get the chance, and please hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. Sean, what do you want to talk about next, man?
I'm still looking at J.J. McCarthy throwing picks.
Sean kicking enough not highlight reel of J.J. McCarthy. I think Bo Nix is going to be good. I think Penix is going to be good. I think Daniels is going to be good. J.J. is the biggest question mark to me.
Don, just so we're clear, this was from 2 days ago in practice. He threw he was 3 for 12. He had 5 interceptions on the day. And 2 days ago, he had 9 interceptions in camp so far. Again, I'm not being a homer. I could only read what's being reported. I'm not at Vikings camp. So I'm looking at the pictures of him. I'm looking at the video of him throwing interceptions as well. So, and here, for me, I like what I see out of J.J. McCarthy. I hope that's the J.J. McCarthy on Monday night. I hope the Bears absolutely go in and beat the living shit out of Minnesota because they are my most hated team in all of sports. I hope they lay the wood to them and embarrass them on Monday Night Football. Oh,
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, obviously, if you're a Bears fan, you wouldn't want to be rooting for the division rivals quarterback to be a really good NFL quarterback. Now, listen, as a human being, I don't wish ill will on any of these guys because I don't know them, and I know JJ McCarthy's a Chicago kid, isn't he? Like, I hope he makes a lot of money in his life. I hope he never wins a game against the Chicago Bears. I'm a Bears fan. Why would I want JJ McCarthy to be good? Yeah, Notorious. I totally understand. I know a lot of people are on the fence about Michael Penix. I get it, man. He's another one that outside of Nick's, Daniels, and Caleb, he scared me the most of all of them. But I don't know. Just watching the few games he played last year, he just looks like he's going to be a good NFL player at some point. I mean, I'll tell you this, guys. Drake London got a lot better when Michael Penix got the game. He became, his last 3 weeks of the season, he was a fantasy monster.
I'm with Kyle on this. I actually like Michael Penix. Again, I'm watching these camps. This guy on 11 and 11s is dropping dimes, like the defender's hands here, and he's dropping the ball right here where only his receiver. I mean, go look up Michael Penix in training camp, and he's looked phenomenal. Another guy, first overall pick, Cam Ward, also dropping some beautiful dimes in training camp to Calvin Ridley. We'll talk about that in just a little bit in fantasy fact or fiction in just a little bit. But I don't wish ill will on anybody. And Kyle, you are absolutely right. J.J. McCarthy is a Chicago kid. He went to Nazareth Academy in LaGrange Park, western suburb of Chicago. That alone will make me just root for him because I root for anybody that's from Chicago.
Until he became a Viking.
Until he became a Viking.
You know what? The whole Chicago thing is over. I don't care. I hope you suck. Yeah. Sean, I'm with you. I hate the Packers more still, but the Vikings have, over the last decade or so, have slowly creeped up towards the Chicago or the Green Bay Packers, especially when Adrian Peterson was bending the Bears over twice a year for the last. That guy was amazing. One of the best players I've ever watched in my entire life. Of course. Adrian Peterson. Of course, he's on the Minnesota Vikings. Of course.
Yeah.
He's one of the best running backs ever to play football.
So as we approach this game day, I'm kind of interested.
Oh, sorry, guys. We just saw Sean. Real quick when it comes to Penix, guys. Anthropology likes Penix. He said Trey thinks Penix is legit. Erica says she thinks Penix is going to be good. And Brennan, I like the stat that Brennan put up here, guys. He said, he's talking about the inexperience of McCarthy. So McCarthy had 713 pass attempts in college. Daniels had 1438. Yeah, that's a huge difference. And you know what? Daniels also played in college for like 6 years. He's only like 30 years old too. Squeegee, welcome to the show, man. What's going on?
As we get into, this Dolphins game, and, we're obviously only going to be able to see film of these joint practices. We're not going to, unless you're there live, you're not going to be able to see it. And this depth chart came out. You saw Braxton Jones listed as the number 1 left tackle at the moment. Trapilo, second string. Luther Burden was third string behind DJ Moore and even Zacchaeus.
He was fifth. He was behind literally everybody. Duvernay, he was behind too, technically.
But I think for me, and I want to hear what you guys in the chat want to see, what you're most interested, what players you're going to be keeping your eye on in this game. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but I just want to refresh my memory. I'm going to write some notes of what you guys are. So when I'm watching this game on Sunday, we could break this down with y'all a little bit when we come back. I think one of my, obviously the left tackle battle, and I'm just kind of more or less thinking of things that aren't obvious, like the left tackle battle. I really want to see Noah Sewell and see how he performs. And I want to see my brother from another mother, the TCU 5'11" white kid, JP Richardson, in action, in live action. Kyle and I got to see him absolutely
score a long touchdown.
Yeah, score a long touchdown on a great route, create separation. I think they said he had like a 4.6 40 or something. He looks a little bit faster than that. Or no, he had a 4.5. He had a 4.5 40. He looked a little bit faster than that when he was breaking over the middle. And obviously, I kind of want to see some of these backup line. if we gave you a name, if I gave you a name of who I'm watching the most, it's going to be obviously Trapilo. It's going to be J.P. Richardson, and it's going to be Noah Sewell for me. I want to see what this kid – I've been in this kid's corner since he was drafted for the Chicago Bears, and it looks like he's finally getting an opportunity. I really like this kid at Oregon, so I hope he pans out in that LB3 position for the Chicago Bears this year. What are you guys – and in there – in the chat, who you guys interested in? Please tell us.
Well, Sean, you got some guys who have answered your question already here. Dante asks, "Is Zay Frazier back with the team?" I'm assuming that's probably somebody he'd like to keep his eye on. I don't believe so. I think Zay Frazier is still away from the Chicago Bears. Yeah,
like
Jason.
To see all the DBs though, right?
Yeah, Jason, go ahead. Jason, take it away, Jason. What do you want to see?
Wouldn't you like to see the DBs? Because this is a preseason game, so you're not going to see the starting lineup for maybe one or two series, starting offensive line. You'd like to see them move the ball or whatever, but it's going to be vanilla. So I don't know what we're really going to get out of that. What I'm really interested to see is, like Sean said, the backup line. So the second string lines, how all those guys are doing. I want to see the backup linebackers and DBs. How are they playing? I'd like to see some of the younger guys on the defensive line. Let's see. Shamar Turner, is he going to play? I'd like to see some development out of the kid out of Kansas, Booker. I'd like to see these young guys actually play hard and do well. And I know they're not going to be playing other, starters on teams, but I want to see if they're capable. Are they holding their own? Are they, covering like glue? Are they filling their gaps? Are they crashing downhill? Are they doing things that they need to do? Is the backup offensive line still opening up holes? I know they'll be playing second stringers, but if they're matching their talent, if they're opening up holes, there's a good possibility they'll be able to do it against the starter. So like any preseason game, I'm looking at everybody pretty much but the starters, because honestly, I think we know what our starters are probably going to offer us here. You'd like to see Caleb move the ball down the field and look fluent in this offense. But other than that, I'm interested to see the depth part of it, because for a long time, guys, we've not had a very deep team.
What's up, Calvin? Hey, and really quick, Kyle, before you go, Zay Frazier is back. Is back at practice with the Chicago Bears. They said he has rejoined the team after being away for personal reasons. So Shamar Turner is the only draft pick that will not be practicing for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 position battles or players as individual. I'm going to watch closely on Sunday. Obviously, you guys, now that Ozzie Trapilo has been named the second team tackle, he's going to play against backup defensive linemen. I'd like to see him dominate them, because if Ozzie Trapilo is dominating second string players in the NFL, that means he could probably make it as a starting left tackle in the NFL. The Bears need a left tackle at some point, and they're running out of time because Braxton Jones is owed a contract next year. You just drafted Ozzie Trapilo with the second round pick. You're hoping that this guy is the left tackle of the future for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years to come. Another position battle I'll be watching, you guys, is I want to see if Roshan Johnson or Kyle Manung guys stick out to me. I mean, you could talk about their statistics, you could talk about what they did in college, but at the end of the day, it's the eye test, right? One of these guys needs to look special. If the Chicago Bears running back room is going to move up in the ranks, one of these guys has to stick out and look special. And I think that one of them is going to do it. I'm not saying we're looking at the next Saquon Barkley. I'm just saying I think it's a guy who could be a really good, important piece of this run game for the Chicago Bears in 2025. Another battle I'll be watching closely is, well, first and foremost, guys, I'm going to be watching Caleb Williams in this offense and see how comfortable he is, see how confident he looks, see the way he runs it, see the way he gets in the huddles, gets the plays out, see if there's any pre-snap penalties. But the last battle I'm going to be watching for sure, guys, is the cornerback battle. I think that's really, really important to the Chicago Bears. They need a good number 2 corner for them to be a dominant defense in this league. I hope that Stevenson or Wright or Smith, one of these guys stands out and has an interception, or makes has a monster game where he's making tackles in the backfield, something like that. But yeah, those are the
reading 4 coverages. Yeah, he's jumping on the ball. That type of stuff.
Those are the 4 situations that are most important to me, and I think are most important in the 2025 Chicago Bears. But I agree with Sean. I mean, all these new guys that we've never, Noah Sewell, this guy's been here for 3 years. We've never seen him. I definitely want to see him for sure and be like, what did we draft? What was that? The 2019 draft that we got.
I think he was a 4th round pick too.
He's Penei Sewell's little brother.
Yeah, he is.
By all accounts, Sean's talked about this on the show before. He's really good at pass rush specialist. He's really good at rushing the quarterback. So let's see it, man. Maybe we have another guy on this defense who can get after the quarterback and upset the timing of the offense. If that's the case, this defense is only going to look better and better with every single one of these guys. Austin Booker's a guy I'm going to keep my eye on very closely. I want to see
big time Austin
that
Booker.
guy, especially for a guy who's not necessarily the prototypical body type that fits Dennis Allen's scheme, but maybe he's just so good. Dennis Allen's like, oh, this guy's not going anywhere. He's going to be here for the rest of the time I'm here. But yeah, there's a lot of different battles I'm going to be watching, a lot of different players I'm going to be watching, but I just want to see where the Bears are as a whole against other competition outside of themselves. I want to see how much of this system has been installed and how much they're retaining.
And nobody texted me because it's my daughter's birthday party. So I got to watch this game at like 6:00 at night. So don't text me about it.
Where's her party at? Where's my invite?
It's at a water park in St. Charles. Yeah, most of the parents are dropping off their kids. I think Chris is going to go. I don't know. I still don't know what the hell's going on. I just know I have to be there at 11:30 to 3:30. That's all I know. And I'm at a water park.
Perfect timing.
So
yeah, and breaking news, Bruce says he is looking forward to watching the offensive line. Dante says Daniel Hardy is going to have a Travis Gibson like type preseason. I mean, Austin Booker had that last year. If you guys don't remember, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but Austin Booker had an amazing preseason last year, and obviously it didn't translate. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you'd like to see these guys be good against the competition. Another guy I'd like to watch, guys, is Ian Wheeler, because he just left me wanting more when he got hurt last year. I'm like, man, this guy looked like an NFL running back, and he never really had the chance to play running back in college. He was more of a return specialist. So it's like, hey, maybe this has been inside of this guy this whole time, and he's special. Maybe he's a special running back that could be good in the NFL for a long time. And then he had that devastating injury. Obviously, we watched on Hard Knocks, and that was over. But yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be a ramp up period, right? Like you think that Ian Wheeler is probably going to be slowly integrated into the offense, because I'm sure that injury probably still bothers him at times. But he's definitely somebody I'm going to keep my eye on, because if he looks just as special this year as he did last year, this is a guy you really need to talk about getting involved in this committee.
Ben Johnson might find a place for him. Yeah. And you know what? I guess Roshan, you had mentioned earlier, Kyle. I want to see Roshan run like he was billed to us to run. I want him running through dudes and breaking tackles. I want him running hard, because most of the part of last season, I did not see him doing that. So if I see him do that, I'm going to be happy.
Let me ask you this. If Roshan doesn't play, I think you have a sneak peek of who your 1-2 running backs are.
For sure.
That's
And it'll be interesting after this joint practice to see if they make a decision on starters or not starters. I hate to say this, I almost want them to struggle a little bit so Ben Johnson makes them play against the Dolphins on Sunday. That's just selfish me. But
you know what I'd like to see in this preseason game, guys? I'd like to see Luther Burden catch a 50-yard pass down the sideline and give one of the Miami corners the peace sign on his way to the end zone. That would be the perfect preseason play for me if I had to make one. I think Luther Burden's going to be dominant in this league, and I think you're going to start seeing it as early this Sunday on in the preseason game. I think Luther Burden should get a decent amount of playing time, right? You would think, right?
He should. Yeah, he definitely should.
Well, I mean, he's fifth on the depth chart. I mean, obviously the depth chart doesn't mean anything at this point, but they're saying like he's got a lot of work to do to catch up. Well, then give him the work, right? Give him the time, give him the practice. 100%. Let's see it, and let him go beat the shit out of Miami's secondary.
And I think Miles Boykin is hurt. I don't know that he's going to play at all.
What's his middle name? Isn't it? Is it like it's like Naka? Not gonna make the team anyways.
Oh, we got the little white kid, JP Richardson. We were talking about last week.
I cannot wait to see that kid play. I hope he lights it up like a Christmas tree, man. I really, really do. You know who I don't see on here? Oh, that's at the top. DJ Moore. So you got Borden. You're gonna see a lot of Tyler Scott, JP Richardson.
You guys, Spurnan says, I want to see. He's talking about Jonathan Kim kick a game-winning 65-yard field goal. If he does that, like Sean said earlier, I think you know who won that second running back battle. I think you know who wins the kicker battle if he can kick a 65-yard field goal.
And if you want to see if he can do it in real life experience, you're going to do it and test it out in preseason, right?
I'd let him
do it in third down. Who gives a shit? Just to see if you can do it.
And as 4-star Chicago Sports is everywhere, which we are. Brandon will be at that game, so we will get hopefully maybe some reporting from him on Monday on the Halas Hall Hangover about what he saw, what he witnessed on the field, and that'll be pretty fantastic stuff for all of us.
Well,
And
Sean, here's a good answer, real quick. V-Dog here. He says, I'm specifically evaluating Ben Johnson out of anyone on Sunday. I don't know if you guys heard Peter Schrager this morning on Get Up, but he's saying Ben's praises instead of be a KOC vibe will know right away if he's him. I mean,
I
I
hope
don't know
you're
if I
right,
would,
man.
I don't know if I would judge him solely off this preseason game against Miami. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about watching Caleb Williams, right? Like the only way you know how, the only way to evaluate how Ben Johnson runs his scheme or an offense is to watch the players inside the offense. If Caleb Williams looks great, looks a lot better than he did last year, he's hitting players timely fashion, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. I think that's proving that Ben Johnson is doing a good job here.
Well, Courtney Cronin today said that he's playing much better in structure off of yesterday's practice. So, but she also said she's never seen people hitting in practice before. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, he actually talked about that in that interview with Baldinger and Stacey Dales about how he is becoming more comfortable under center and how it opens up the field to a lot more plays, play action, and things like that. So I know there was some things that, he wants to play in shotgun. He wants to do this. I think Caleb really wants to embrace this and evolve as a quarterback, and he is embracing it. And this is why I said, if the Bears were to start off 1-6, for me, it would be more of how they look in that 1-6, opposed to the Bears are 1-6 again.
Offense looks good, but the defense maybe gave up some big touchdowns or something, right?
Or they were in the ball game and they lost 27-24 to the Baltimore Ravens. Predicted to win the Super Bowl this year. If they go against the Eagles the day after they lose that game 31-28. I'm certainly not going to be pissed. I'm certainly not going to be pissed. So for me, it's more or less, and you guys got to remember, the Lions went through this too. Don Burr, if he's still in here, I'm sure he's going to remember this. I think they started off 1-6 the year before they won their first division title. They finished that season 9-8. So they got it together, or 8-9. It was one of the two. But they got it together in the second half of the season. And I hate to say it, but I can honestly see that being the Bears' trajectory this year. Maybe they don't get it right away. Maybe it is a struggle as they install this offense against good teams, because this schedule is a juggernaut. So give them time, and let's just see what they look like before, the 1-6. If it 1-6 last year opposed to what 1-6 this year could look like. Is that fair? Would that be fair?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm watching for, guys, is I'm watching for the Bears to start to look like an NFL offense, something we haven't seen here in a very long time. I want to see Caleb take what the defense gives him. I want to see methodical drives that are 9, 10, 11, 12 plays down the field. I want to see him hit that big play occasionally when they think it's right. I want to see the young guys like Colston Loveland and Luther Burden start to grow and start to mature the more that they're played and more they're integrated in this offense. I mean, you just want to see this team start to look like an NFL football team. And I know that sounds so cliche, but we've never seen it. I mean, I don't remember a time in which I feel like ever since I was born, the Bears offense has just had these moments where they're just incredibly stagnant, vanilla, and tough to watch. I mean, infuriating. Sean, you remember watching them the last few years screaming at the TV for 2.5 hours.
You guys have seen me watching Cubs games, so
I want to see.
The last time I was excited was watching Fields run. He had that stretch where he had seemed like 6 games. He had like a 40-yard touchdown every time.
Yeah, and how pathetic is it that that's the exciting moments for Bears fans, knowing you're losing the game 28-14, right? Like you're like this. How come this offense has had time and time and time they've given the ball, even sometimes a good field position, and they can't score to save their lives? I want to see a Bears team that can score on 40% of their drives. Score average 27 points a game. That's by week 12, 13, 14, 15, be a force to be reckoned with. Make sure they get to the point where the other team is like, man, we got to play the Bears. That sucks, because in years past, it's like, yes, we get to play the Bears. We get 2 bye weeks this year. Hell yeah.
And to B-Dog's question here, he said, what are y'all thoughts on Ben? Ben said about Tyreek, he said he loves the guy and his passion, but I'd appreciate it if he tones it down and shuts the hell up sometimes. I think he gave you your insight to who CB2 is on the Chicago Bears, and Kyle and I don't remember if you were on the show, if it was Monday or last Wednesday, but we kind of alluded to, we like Terrell Smith. We think he's a very fine player in the NFL, but the upside of Tyreek Stevenson is up here where his might be right here. So I think the CB2 battle is over. I think it is Tyreek Stevenson's. We'll get to see. I'm sure we're going to get to see a lot of Nashawn Wright this weekend
it
as well.
Should be. I mean, I would say that Smith is a more fundamentally sound football player than Tyreek Stevenson. He's probably more consistent. Right? He's better footwork, better technique. But Tyreek Stevenson could be a ball hawk, and he can be big, huge splash plays that can change the game immediately. I mean, if you pick off a pass and score a touchdown, you have changed the game immediately. So if Tyreek Stevenson is capable of doing that, even if he does give up a few big plays here and there, guys, and he makes mistakes, you've seen it with Trayvon Diggs. That guy is not the shutdown corner. He's not an island. The guy gives up huge touchdowns, huge plays. But if you take the ball away 9 times a year, you're putting your team in advantageous situations. I mean, like if Tyreek Stevenson can be that guy, which we've seen flashes of, right? We've all seen it. You guys remember it? The Browns game in particular.
He definitely flashed.
He was amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm like, man, this guy is going to be like a star. He's just inconsistent. What you're hoping is that Al Harris and his coaching staff can make him play more consistent.
Would it be fair to say that there wouldn't be this many questions if Washington never happened?
Correct.
No, I think it's what happened after Washington. For me personally, guys, it's what happened after Washington. That's what happened. I think Washington may have been what's started the snowball. It all got worse and worse as the season went on. But I mean, you guys remember those toss-ups by Jordan Love, and they were on Tyreek Stevenson, like 3 or 4 of them. And it's like, dude, how can you not come down with that ball? How can you not break up that thing was up in the air for 7 seconds, dude? You have to make that play.
Because he said, I think V-Dog was paraphrasing. I think what Johnson said is he talks too much, which is basically saying, listen, keep your mind on the game. You want to, I'm sure, I bet he told him, if you want to talk after the game, go right ahead. But between that 45 minutes, that hour of that game, I need you 100% focused. And I think he's going to start seeing him, and that's why he's punishing all these other players who are, sitting them out in practice or whatever, because he wants to know that I take this shit seriously and you are too. And I think when players start seeing their stats go up and their interest from other teams go up and they see their performance go up, that's when people start really buying in.
Yeah, when their salary goes up, they're like, yeah, I like this guy a lot. This guy's awesome. Hey, you guys, who was Ben Johnson talking about in his presser yesterday when he said, yeah, he's chippy and he talks a lot, sometimes a little too much, and I got to tell him to pull it back a little bit. But was it Brisker or was it Stevenson? I couldn't hear the guy's question.
I thought it was Brisker.
I thought it was Brisker too. I couldn't hear the guy's question. The guy's like whispering.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't be 100% sure. It could be either or because they both chirp a lot.
Yes. But Ben Johnson said, I like it. Sometimes I just have to tell him to pull it back a little bit, but I appreciate that he does that. He's like lighting a fire under the team's ass. Listen, I think given the right coaching and the right circumstance and the right scheme, Tyreek Stevenson could be a very good player, a dangerous player in the NFL. It's just kind of one of those situations where it's like, it feels like everything almost has to be right. But I'll tell you this, to Jason's point, this guy, you heard Ben Johnson say, you guys, year 3 in the NFL is kind of your prove it year. It's not a league where you don't get many second chances in the NFL. This is his time. Like, this is his chance. And if anything's going to motivate you, it should be money, right? Like, that's why you join the NFL. That's why you play football early. You want to be a professional football player and make a lot of money and win a Super Bowl. Like, if you want to be that guy, Tyreek Stevenson, now is the time. Like, you're running out of time.
Yeah. And to Dante,
Justin said it was Brisker, Sean.
I thought it was Brisker. It was because of what he did after that Roshan. Dude, I'll send you it. I saved it in my on my X feed. He wrapped up Roshan, threw him out of bounds, and immediately went to Ben Johnson and got in his face and was chirping at him. Ben Johnson had a Joker smile. He didn't get pissed, but I guarantee that's where that comment came from. I thought it was really awesome because, I mean, he went right up to Ben, dude, and he was like right here, like, like, all right, like, it's not on offense, Ben. It's defense.
Tell you what, if you could get a game with Brisker and Stevenson mic'd up, it would be an interesting game for sure. There'd be a lot of beeps in there for sure.
And Dante, what I was saying with the 1-6 start, I mean, when you look at Detroit, when they started off 1-6 and they turned it around, it didn't deflate the team. It motivated them because they knew they were better. And I think that's coaching. And that could happen with the Bears. I hope they don't.
They made it. You know what they did? You know what was the biggest change?
They had Ben Johnson call
Yeah,
plays.
they made Ben Johnson call plays. That's when they became a dominant football team in 2022. That's when they started. They won like 8 of their last 9.
Yeah,
because Ben Johnson started calling plays for the offense there. Like he knew the personnel he had. He's like, guys, we're just not calling the right plays. Like the talent is here. We're just not calling the right plays. And the fact that Ben Johnson has proven already that he can take a roster and build around its strengths. Like, you're trying to force the scheme onto these Lions players and Jared Goff and like these aren't the players to run that scheme. You need to do this. It's just a breath of fresh air for Bears fans. I mean, if he could do that here in Chicago, I said, man, I don't know what the record's going to be, guys. I don't know if they're going to start 0-6, 1-7. I don't know if they're going to start 6-0. But this offense at some point in this season, when this playbook is opened up completely, is going to be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, and I agree with Illinois Jones because this is kind of how I feel, man. Entirely new coaching staff, second-year quarterback, possibly a rookie left tackle, second toughest schedule in the NFL. There's going to be growing pains and hopefully a little winning mixed in until we start rolling. Illinois Jones, it's very well said because it's exactly how I feel. It could be a bumpy ride. Ben Johnson's told you it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Most logical Bears fans, I think that's what they expect. I think most logical Bears fans, people who think with their brain and not their heart, are like, man, there could be some rough days here in there for sure, because it's a brand new team. It's all brand new team. But like you said, Sean, it's not just the destination, it's the journey. It's the end result you're focused on. It's not what happens in week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like you said, as long as you can see that growth and you can see these guys getting better and Caleb becomes more comfortable in their center and they start to look like an NFL offense and score a ton of points and their defense gets more. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking at, oh, well, we didn't start 6-0. I'm done with this team. Like this year, to me, guys, personally, and I've said this before, this year is a stepping stone. That's what it is. It's a stepping stone. I'm just going to try to use this year to get better.
I don't want to be a homer, but I think we can beat the Vikings just in our first 6. I think we can beat the Lions. We'll lose to the Vikings. We'll lose to the Lions. I think we can beat the Cowboys. I'm giving the Bears the loss against the Raiders. I'm taking them for the win against the Commanders, and I think they'll smoke the Saints. And then the schedule starts to pick up a little bit. But I could see the Bears being 4-2 and 3-3 after those first 6. Do you guys agree with that, or not?
God. 4-2 would be like
last
deja vu.
we can't
Yeah, it's deja vu. Like we're 4-2. Yeah, you guys get the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers. Oh, God.
Ravens, Bengals. Yeah, it gets a little tough after those first 6. But again, those first 6, I up until that Ravens game, I think the Bears could really compete and win a lot of those football games in the first 6 weeks. There's 7 weeks.
There certainly shouldn't be a game in the first 6 weeks there that is like gets out of hand. Like none of those games on their schedule. If that happens, we're in trouble. Like if the Raiders are beating us 43-0 in the fourth quarter, then we're going to have a totally different conversation on the Monday following that game. But I don't think that's going to happen under Ben Johnson. I think this team's going to be competitive every week.
I was never upset about Edmonds. I don't know if maybe upset about a performance, but I was actually really excited when they signed him because they signed a Pro Bowl linebacker. I'm disappointed in
which is fair.
I think I'm disappointed in the schemes that he's been put in that have made him not look like the Pro Bowl.
And disappointed in the way he's played since he got here. I mean, he's got to be held accountable too. You can't just blame it on the scheme. Listen, Tremaine Edmonds is a good player, but he has not been a $75 million linebacker since he got to the Chicago Bears in any way, shape, or form. If he wants to be, well, especially in this city of all cities in the NFL, if he wants to be like one of those loved Bears linebackers, he needs to be a lot better than he's been. A lot better.
He doesn't lead the team in tackles, and he's the middle linebacker.
No, which is and no splash plays. There's no interception return for a touchdown. Yeah. Bears fans are so used to this shit with Urlacher, Briggs, Singletary, Otis Marshall. Well, I mean,
and V-Dog, I think he's going to have a monster year. I think Tremaine Edmonds is going to bounce back this year. I really do.
He's the prototypical size, weight, speed, length that Dennis Allen is looking for at that position.
Yeah. I like what Dustin said. At the same time, brand new teams with brand new head coaches have had great success right away. It's not the norm, but it's not a realm of possibility. The schedule is a monster.
Yeah.
I agree. You never
100% correct.
You guys, I said it earlier. I don't know. They could start 6-0. They could start 0-6. I don't know. I have no idea. I think the Bears will finish somewhere around 9-8.
Dante's on the 6-0 trade heading into the Ravens game.
God bless you, Dante. God bless you, buddy.
Well, breaking news, Bruce. You got a buddy, man. You guys are always everybody's undefeated all the time.
Have we ever seen flea market floppy disk before?
What's that?
Have we ever seen flea market floppy disk before?
I
No.
don't believe so. Welcome to the show, Flea
What
Market.
up, Flea Market Floppy?
What do we call you?
Yeah, and hey,
Yeah.
he's got the Bears at 7-10. I think where I'm going to be when this all winds up is 6 or 7 wins for the Bears, and pleasantly surprised if they make it to 9 or 10. I think
Yeah,
that's where I'm going to go.
I got them at 9-8. I think they're capable of winning 9 games on this schedule. And you guys, Samo has now joined the chat.
What's
here
up,
as well.
Samo?
He says week 1 versus the Vikings is looking more and more winnable with the injuries and suspension of Viking players. Yeah, that Jordan Addison one hurt them big time because I don't know if you guys remember or not, but last year Jordan Addison absolutely torched the Chicago Bears. They had like 160 yards and 3 touchdowns or something. V-Dog says an underrated person on the staff was Press Taylor, Zach Taylor's brother. He's our passing game coordinator. Yeah, Sean and Brennan talked about this on the show once a couple weeks ago. How
Brandon's
some of those guys, there's a lot of hype around him. I just don't know how you could quantify if it's actually real or not. But Brennan, I think the point that you made, Sean, wasn't it that Press Taylor was the offensive coordinator for Trevor Lawrence, and he didn't look very
Trevor
good.
Lawrence. I don't know enough about Press Taylor to say anything about him. I just know where he came from, and the success of Trevor Lawrence isn't one that we're talking about of Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix.
And he came into the draft more highly touted than all those guys. Yeah, he was supposed to be the next Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
if you remember.
So I don't know, man. I don't know enough about Press Taylor. I know that Brandon really likes him, and Brandon's a very smart individual when it comes to this stuff. So if he likes him, I'll look into him a little more. I just don't know enough about him personally to say yay or nay. So,
and I don't know if you're ever going to know. Like, it's not quantifiable, right? Like, if the Bears are good, you can't be like, that's Press Taylor right there. That's my man. Like, yeah, probably Ben Johnson, but he certainly contributes.
You know what? The coaches will let you know. They'll say, Press has been doing a phenomenal job with Caleb at this or whatever. They'll make sure he gets recognized if he's doing doing it well. Yeah.
And Swaggy says he's got the Bears going 20-0. He's got
Swaggy, I love it, baby. I love it.
Certified badass.
All right, you guys want anything else you guys want to talk about before we get into this fantasy?
Yeah, anybody got anything else? I'm just going through my notes.
Yeah, guys, everybody in the chat, fantasy is here. There's drafts being done as we speak. It's time, man. I'm still gonna try to find a way to do a fantasy mock draft.
We can. We'll definitely get it done.
Yeah, and you guys coming in the chat here, we're gonna have you guys create a team for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Chicago Sports.
And we're going to do some fantasy right now because I prepared 15 rapid questions. It might actually be 14 because I'm a dumbass and I kind of repeated one, but maybe I'll just ask it anyways and say, who cares? I think I wrote it and rephrased it. So I don't know if I even want to ask this question, because I don't want to give away my secrets. I'm just kidding. So 15 rapid fire. We have.
I agree, broski. I agree. I'm not advocating for it, but it's happening.
Dude.
It's happening.
Yes. What happened?
He says if your league is drafting now, your league is smoking crack.
My first draft and Jay's first draft is
the 23rd. I've heard so many horror stories. You know how many horror stories I've heard? Sean had one. Sean drafted J.K. Dobbins, and the next play in preseason, he tore his ACL. I know a guy who drafted Andrew Luck, and he retired like an hour and a half later. Like, dude, you got to do your draft the week before the season. You got to do your draft.
That's why the keepers for my league are due the Friday before we draft that Sunday, and
Labor Day weekend.
The preseason will be done because, Jay, when we draft on the 23rd, I believe that's the last day of preseason altogether. I'm pretty sure of it. If not that Saturday, it's Sunday. So we'll just have to collectively cross our fingers and hold our breath that nothing happens to one of our guys. But yeah, we're gonna let's hit some of these. Let's hit.
Brian Thomas Jr. gets hurt. I'm screwed.
With the lack of running backs in Dallas this season, and the hype going around Mr. George Pickens, fantasy fact or fantasy fiction? fiction, excuse me. George Pickens outscores Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, and Marvin Harrison in fantasy points this season. Chat, please jump in with fact or fiction.
That's a good one. Did you make that one or did you find that somewhere?
I've made some and I found some. I don't remember which ones are which.
I don't think he beats T. Higgins, so I'm a no.
I think he does. I think he does.
Think he outscores all three.
Yeah, I think we know that CeeDee Lamb has had problems with injuries, right? Obviously, he's played through a couple of them, but I think with the luxury of George Pickens across from him, if he does get like an ankle sprain or something like he's had in years past, they're probably just going to let him sit. And if George Pickens can get 3, 4, 5 weeks of no CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be an absolute fantasy monster. And if that happens, I think just by default, just by opportunity, he's going to be better than those three guys. Now, the same could be said for T. Higgins if Jamar Chase gets hurt. Jamar Chase doesn't get hurt all that often. He had that one big injury. Outside of that, he seems to be pretty healthy. And I've been watching training camp for the Cardinals guys, and God, Kyler Murray's lack of ability to get the ball to Marvin Harrison is concerning, and it's concerning for Marvin Harrison's career and his pocketbook.
Yeah.
So Jay, you're a fiction. I'm gonna go fantasy fact because I think even with CeeDee Lamb, I think they're going to be behind in games and they're going to pass a lot. And George Pickens, I think, is going to go nuclear.
Yeah, you guys, Amari Cooper was very good.
The running game could be better than you think it is, though.
Amari Cooper had more yards.
I do agree. I agree. I like Jaden Blue and Javonte Williams.
Yeah, well, it'll definitely be better than last year.
Yeah.
Although I like Rico Dowdle too, so I don't. But I think Amari Cooper, the first year that CeeDee Lamb was there, and obviously it's his rookie season, so it's not saying much. But I'm pretty sure Amari Cooper was the leading receiver on the team, wasn't he? When CeeDee Lamb's first year, I'm almost positive Amari Cooper had over 1,000 yards.
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, Dak's going to get the ball to whoever's open. So if George Pickens could be open as often as he was in Pittsburgh, then he's going to be a damn good fantasy player. That could sneak into the conversation of best wide receiver duo in the NFL.
Well, you know what?
They got a new offensive line too.
I'm going to ask this question: fantasy fact, fantasy fiction.
They got Tyler Booker. That's huge.
How about this? Pickens, CD, and Dak are the 2024 or the 2025 version of the 2024 version of Chase, Higgins, and Burrow. Fantasy fiction.
That might be asking a little too much.
Yeah, CD's just not Jamar Chase, man.
He's pretty fucking good, though.
He's good. Very good.
Sean, Illinois Jones says fiction. Broski Beer says that's a really tough question, but I'm going to go fiction. Breaking News Bruce says fiction. I think, do I think it's going to happen? Like, is it cemented or guaranteed? No, but is it possible? Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dak Prescott's definitely he's got the talent to feed multiple wide receivers. That's if he's healthy, that's definitely a very good possibility. That just putting him up against that Cincinnati, because they may have another 5,000 yards passing again, dude. There could be four guys with 1,000 yards on that team.
I think Joe is going to have
5,000.
Close. Not close.
All right. Fantasy fact or fantasy fiction. And this is a tough offense to judge. But Braylon Allen is receiving glowing reviews out of camp. They are saying that Breece Hall will be spread out a lot more wide than he will be in the backfield. With this, fantasy fact or fantasy fiction, Braylon Allen is the running back indeed to draft over Breece Hall, and he outscores him in 2025.
Fiction.
Fiction?
I say fiction too. I'm going to stay away from those running backs because I think Justin Fields might be stealing yardage and touchdowns from both.
Well, first of all, Breece Hall's a better pass catcher. So you're talking about fantasy points, especially for your PPR league. Automatically, he's going to get the. But I mean, Sean, wasn't Breece Hall's first round pick, right? Almost positive.
He's first 2 rounds. I'm not sure.
Almost positive he's a first round pick. I mean, if you have that much invested in a running back and he's coming up to his rookie contract expiring, you need to see what you got in Breece Hall right now. Because if you don't believe he's the guy and Braylon Allen's better than him, then you would trade him. Like, he'd be worth more in a trade than he is as a second string running back. Because I think most of the teams in the NFL are still kind of undecided on Breece Hall, right? Like, is this guy really, really good and been on a bad team, or is this guy average and not what he was expected to be when he was drafted? I think Breece Hall is going to get every single opportunity to dominate that backfield 100%. And I think Breece Hall is a more skilled player than Braylon Allen.
I agree.
Who's the OC in Jersey, technically New York, but for the Jets.
I don't know who the Jets.
I don't remember. I know he hired him like the day after he got hired as coach. What's his name? I can look it up right now. Yeah.
Tanner Engerstrad. He was hired January 2025 after spending.
Yeah, that doesn't help him. Who the hell is that guy?
He came from the Detroit Lions, so they brought him with him. What's his name? Brought him with him.
Well, that's a good place to get off the court.
So they're going to try to be a run heavy offense, I'm sure.
Yeah, Brees Hall is going to get every opportunity to lead that backfield, no doubt about it. That's fiction for me all day.
All right,
behind one of the better lines in the NFL, plug and play Caleb Johnson replaces Najee Harris' production and finishes as a top 15 fantasy running back in 2025.
Fact all day. I think he's going to get fed the ball. I know they got that younger kid behind him, but I think his ability is crazy. And honestly, Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw to running backs that often, but I think Caleb Johnson was probably the perfect pick for Pittsburgh. I mean, he fits that team perfectly, exactly what they want to do. Hand the ball, he's between the tackles, he can kick it outside, and he can catch the ball if you need him to catch the ball. But I don't think that's going to be their main focus. I think they have other players on that roster that can do that a little bit more effectively. But I think him running he's just good. I mean, there he is catching a pass right there, swinging it out, bouncing off a couple of guys, still on his
scoring a 60-yard touchdown.
So yeah, I mean, he's a special kind of talent, and I'm surprised he went as late as he did. The Bears had a chance to pick him up, and they did not, which was slightly disappointing. But hey, man, he's a special player. I'll be looking at him closely in both of the fantasy drafts.
Yeah, guys, breaking news, Bruce and Illinois Jones say fact. Vernon says not if he keeps dropping the ball. Also been reported that he's awful in pass protection. This is a fact because if you listen to Mike Tomlin, I mean, he's going to get every opportunity. I can tell you guys that right now because Mike Tomlin compared him to Le'Veon. He compared him to Le'Veon Bell and Rashard Mendenhall. I mean, that is high praise for a rookie running back who's never taken an NFL snap. He's going to get a ton of carries. I mean, you're talking about 17 to 22 a game, probably somewhere in there. So just based off of opportunity, he should finish as the top 15 fantasy running back. And you guys, honestly, even if he can't catch the ball and he's only has 14, 15, 16 catches all season, there's a chance Caleb Johnson has 14, 15, 16 touchdowns this season. So he is definitely going to be in that conversation for sure. That's a fact.
I'm going fantasy fact as well. This one's going to hit home, boys. With the problems that they have in the Twin Cities, J.J. McCarthy, Sam Howell, and a pulled hamstring, Justin Jefferson finishes outside the top 10 in wide receiver fantasy points per game for the first time in his career.
I think it's fiction. I think he's just too damn good of a talent that he can make a quarterback look a little bit better. I don't know how you just don't. You're going to throw him the ball. The ball's going to him. I mean, he's better than 99% of the DBs out there. The ball's going to him. So as long as you can throw the ball to him, he's going to be fantasy, relevant.
Yeah, he's going to be a top 10 fantasy receiver in football. I mean, if I was in the Minnesota Vikings, my game plan as a quarterback walking into the field would be, I'm just going to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. So even if he has 20 targets but only has 7 completions,
It'll be for 135 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still going to put him in that top 10 fantasy conversation. I just don't think there's any situation in which Justin Jefferson, especially under head coach Kevin O'Connell, could be bad in fantasy. Like he's never going to fall off the face of the planet unless he gets injured. Sean, didn't he finish top 10 when he missed 6 games?
Yeah.
So there you go.
There's not a chance.
I'll say this. I thought of that because I think if there was ever a year that it could happen, it would be this year. But I am also going to say
then put him at quarterback
because he's so good.
Yeah.
I don't care what you got to do.
Have him throw himself the ball. Yeah.
I mean, Sean, and another thing is, like you said, how long has he been in the NFL now? 5 years? 4 or 5 years? I mean, if it's never happened before, until it happens, I'm just going to keep taking him to finish as a top 10 fantasy.
Swaggy said it. Don't bet.
It's like if people are like, if right now somebody was like, do you think Mike Tomlin, like even before they signed Aaron Rodgers, if somebody's like, do you think Mike Tomlin will finish at 500 or better? I'm like, yeah, until he doesn't. I'm going to take the yes. I'm going to take the over.
Is he going to make the playoffs? Yes. Until he doesn't.
This is an interesting one for me because I really love this guy. Emeka Egbuka finishes as the Bucks number one fantasy wide receiver this year?
Fiction.
Yeah, there's
No doubt
there's
about it.
it's too stacked there. I think he's going to be very
What's up,
good.
DJ?
I think next year he might be their best wide receiver on their team
Oh,
by
for
far.
sure.
I think Mike Evans he's going for the record for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. So he is, I guarantee you, highly motivated to break that record. I'm sure the team is highly motivated to get him the ball. I mean, the team went ecstatic when he tied Jerry Rice's record. The team was like ecstatic for him, and why wouldn't you be? I mean, that's a really, really rare group to be in. So I'm rooting for him. I could keep him in one of our leagues. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm going to keep Brian Thomas Jr. instead, but he's going to have 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. I guarantee it.
Fake news, Philly. Fake news. The Bears did not trade for Michael Parsons.
Oh God, no.
Philly Mike says, how did the Bears get Michael Parsons for 21st, a second, and DJ Moore, or for 2 first, a second, DJ Moore? That didn't happen. But yeah, I mean,
I am with you, and I am also going fantasy backed.
All right, it's fiction because first of all, just Emeka Ibuka this year, if he has a good season, you're talking about 800-900 yards. He's probably gonna have 4 or 5 touchdowns. Mike Evans gonna have double-digit touchdowns this year. He always does. Once again, until he stops doing it, I'm not going to pick him not to do it. So just the fantasy points he's going to accumulate just from the 12, 13, 14, 15 touchdowns he gets, that right there is going to be tough to beat. You throw on top of the fact that the guy's never had less than 1,000 yards. So once again, I'm not going to take it until it happens. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just paid this guy. They made him one of the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL. Like Mike Evans is going to be heavily involved in this offense. As a matter of fact, there's a chance the offense is built around Bucky Irving and Mike Evans until Mike Evans starts to fall off. So this year, no. Next year, maybe. But this year, Mike Evans is going to be the leading wide receiver.
I'm going to go on the opposite train of you guys this time. I agree with Broski Bear. I think he's NFL ready. Baker slings it, and Emeka Ibuka is big time. He will be over the next couple of years be labeled the best route runner in the entire NFL. I have a he's
a second half steal. He might win your league in the second half of the season.
He very well
wide receivers historically start off slow their rookie season and then really start to develop. So that to me is the biggest hurdle that he has. I don't know that he's going to come out of the gate swinging, especially when they're still on.
And really quick off subject, I haven't seen any of this. If the Bears are offering that trade that he said, I don't even know where it went. Where the hell did it go?
2 firsts, a second, and DJ Moore.
If they do that, my heart's gonna shatter that DJ Moore's not a Bear anymore. But all right, let's move on.
Why would the Cowboys want to? I mean, I guess maybe you want DJ Moore, George Pickens.
I'm thinking they would want another
CeeDee Lamb, but that wouldn't give you a better chance to win football games than Micah Parsons and just having George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Like Micah Parsons is a game changer, guys. He's a game changer. He makes you he gives you 2-3 wins on your schedule. He takes over games.
With the reports out of Falcons camp that Michael Penix, and he looks phenomenal so far by every account, is building a solid rapport with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Is this the year that Kyle Pitts finally finishes as a top 5 tight end in fantasy football?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Pattern is full. That guy is a bust.
No, Sean, I don't think he's going to finish his top 5 fantasy tight end. I do think he's going to be better than he's been in years past. I think you're talking about 600-700 yards, and probably 4 or 5 handful of touchdowns. But I don't think he's going to be a top 5. There's just too many good tight ends in the NFL now. There's too many of them now.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple guys, and we could talk about this in a later show, but there's a couple guys you need to keep a close eye on who I think could be very, very good players in the NFL coming up next year. Cade Otton, for instance, is a guy that if you're in fantasy and you haven't drafted a tight end yet, and Cade Otton's still sitting there in round 8, round 9, I think that guy can consistently get you 12 to 18 fantasy points every single week. So
DJ's got top 5, not top 5, but top 15. I think I don't think he'll be top 5. I think he's going to crack the top 10 though. I think he's finally going to go back to his rookie year when he had 1,000 yards receiving. I do believe that. I do. And I'm with you, Russ. That's what
Sean, I think he needs to change it because I think they should make him more like
wide receiver.
Yeah, like just play him at wide receiver, man.
Yeah,
clearly it's tough for him to get off those linebacker those linebackers off the line of scrimmage. Just put them at wide receiver. Let them dominate small corners. That's what I would do. I think he just plays out of position.
Yeah, put him in a spot where he's the mismatch, not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish Don Burr was in for this one. Isaac Tesla is drawing comparisons to Puka Nacua. In 2025, he outscores Jameson Williams as the number 2 fantasy receiver in Detroit.
That's possible, but again, it's hard with me. So I'm gonna say fiction because rookie wide receivers just start off slow. It's just historically how it works. And I think Jameson Williams has turned himself around on that team, and I think they like him on there. He's also a deep ball threat, so it's gonna be really hard to beat a guy who caught 2 balls for 180 yards. But I'm a fiction.
I'm gonna say fiction too. And Jason makes a really good point. It's just a really tough position to transition from the collegiate level to the NFL level. It's you're playing much more physical corners, bigger, stronger, faster. It's tough, and not to mention you got to make a name for yourself, right? Like for instance, last year, Roma Dunze, if he was number 2 on any team in the NFL, probably could have 1,000 yards receiving, but he had to play behind Keenan Allen and DJ Moore because he's still trying to get used to the NFL, right? But another problem with Tesla for me personally is the more I read about Tesla in the Lions training camp, there's another receiver there, guys. His name escapes me, but I think he's a rookie. He's standing out in training camp as well. And it sounds to me like these guys are both going to get equal share. I mean, this guy sounds like they're saying he's the next best thing of Detroit. Well, I don't know if there's a Lions fan out there that can help me with his name, but I just think there's too much competition. And like Jason said, Jameson Williams has been getting better every year, and I expect that to continue. He was amazing in college, so I expect him to.
Broski Bear, Tim Patrick too. Yeah, there's a lot. That's a pretty decent wide receiver.
Is Tim Patrick still there?
I don't know if Tim Patrick's
still there. Is he in Denver now?
I thought he signed a 1-year contract. Maybe I'm wrong though.
I think the one problem for Mr. Jameson Williams, yes, he still is on the Detroit Lions. He re-signed with the team.
Sean, you got the other? Do you have the roster in front of you? Depth chart?
The who?
The depth chart in front of you? The Lions depth chart?
I do not.
Yeah, there's another receiver in camp that's been killing it. I don't know his name. I have to look it up.
Oh,
Jeremy K, what's going on, bud? I haven't seen you before. Have you guys seen him?
Who's that?
No, I have not.
Jeremy K.
They have Malik Taylor, Ronnie Bell, Tom Kennedy, Khalif Raymond, Isaac Tesla, and Jacoby Kenny James. That's
I don't know which.
Tim Patrick. Yeah, Tim Patrick, Dominic Levette, and Jackson Meeks.
I don't know who it is. There was a guy who I was talking to at River Street not too long ago. He's a Lions fan, and I was like, I like Tesla a lot. He was like, man, there's another kid in camp right now, a rookie, that they're saying might outplay Tesla for that third receiver spot. He says, Broski Bear says, wide receiver Dominic Lovett is the guy you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Dominic Lovett. I personally think that he's going to carve out a nice role. I don't know if he'll be Jameson Williams this year, but I think he will jump ahead of a Tim Patrick. I like everything that I'm hearing about this guy, especially if he's going to come into the league and burst onto the scene like a Puka Nacua did. And they were saying
that's a hefty comparison. Why? Because they both have long hair. Because they both have long hair. That's why they're comparing him to Puka Nacua.
They were saying his smooth running, the way he runs routes, the way he gets in and out of them, breaks up the ball. He's got soft hands. They really like this kid in Detroit. I don't know.
I like him too. I like Isaac Tesla, but yeah, definitely fiction over Jameson Williams, no doubt about it. Not even a question.
This one is going to be interesting because I want to know where everyone's going to go on this, because we went over this running back regression after big years. We did this a couple of weeks ago. Gave you 8 examples of running backs who had tremendously big years that followed them up as pretty much big disappointments. Fantasy fact or fantasy fiction? Saquon Barkley finishes outside of the top 4 fantasy running backs this season.
I'm going to say fiction. Honestly, I know how difficult it is, and I looked at the stats too. But if there's one guy on one team that can do it, it's Saquon Barkley with that offensive line on that team. Barring an injury, of course, all these things are barring injuries.
Sure.
But man,
Well, injuries you have to think about injuries because Terrell Davis is on that list because he only played one game after he snapped and he was negative 344 fantasy points. So
if he stays
injuries because of heavy usage, which he did, and it's all about the carries that he had. So
he hit a lot. He definitely hit a lot. But again, maybe they use Will Shipley a little bit more this year. I don't know, but I got to be honest with you, with the holes that they open up, I mean, if he's not getting basically running through a 4-lane highway in the middle of the field, then he's jumping over dudes backwards. He's doing spin moves. Look, I mean, he's just really, really good. We saw it all last year. Their offensive line is very, very good. They're a run-first team. They've got actually 2 lethal wide receivers that I don't think people give enough credit for. They talk about Saquon a lot, and I think that opens up that run game a lot for them. I know it's very hard and it's very rare, but this guy is just very rare talent-wise, and that offense is so damn good. If it's going to happen, this is the guy that's going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, that's almost impossible to say because if he misses 3 games, then I would say fact because I think there are 4 guys capable of having.
I'm talking injuries included. I'm talking injuries included because injuries are included.
That's what I'm saying. So, like I'm saying, if he does get injured, fact. If he doesn't, fiction. Right? Like, I mean, I'll tell you this right now. There's a lot of guys that people are sleeping on the NFL. I think Bucky Irving could finish the number 1 fantasy player. I think that's possible. I think Bucky Irving is absolutely amazing, and he should be in that conversation. I think Derrick Henry could finish in front of him, Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. But if he's healthy all year, just based off of that style of offense, I mean, they run the ball so much. And Barkley's such a good player. If he's healthy all year, that's fiction for sure. He's definitely going to be top 4 fantasy running back.
I'm going to go fact. I'm going to go with the history. And I understand he's a throwback. I appreciate that, Illinois Jones. When we did our lists, I had him listed as number 3.
Do you think Henry could be repeated as the top 4?
I do.
Why?
I do.
He could get hurt
because he's probably going to have 20 touchdowns again without
17.
That's just going to get him up there.
John, you got CMC. Swaggy McNoleg says CMC still alive, so he's. I mean,
hold on really quick because
CMC would be number 1. He always gets hurt.
That takes us to our next fantasy fact or fiction. CMC looks amazing, and all reports out of San Francisco is he looks back to normal.
Sean, he got hurt today.
Did he?
Yeah, he got hurt today.
Come on, I did not see that.
I thought there was a report that said he got hurt today, or maybe he just got banged up and walked off the field. But I could have sworn somebody said Broski Bear says he got hurt today. Right here, he says he's hurt already.
I'm looking. Let's see what they say.
Unless he's just joking, but I saw a report. It was I think I was on Twitter, and it said that Christian McCaffrey had to take a couple plays off.
Oh boy, yeah, it does say his back is injured a little bit. Well, this fantasy fact or fiction, I guess you can all go fiction. CMC returns to the number 1 overall fantasy running back.
It's very possible.
If he's healthy, he's the best running back in the NFL.
Yes.
Fantasy wise. I don't know. I'm not talking about comparing them their careers and who's going to make the Hall of Fame, but fantasy wise, if Christian McCaffrey's healthy, he is the best player in the NFL.
He's the best all-around running back. Where he's
everything. He's better than any receiver. He's better than any. He's the best player in fantasy football. He averages like 34 points a week.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Okay, we got 3 left. We have 3 left. 2 of the 3 are Bears questions, so I'm gonna kick it off with a Raiders question and then into the Bears. Deontay Thornton, 6'5", ran a 4.340, which is absurd. He joins Kelvin Johnson and DK Metcalf to be the only 6'4" and to run a 4.3 or faster 40. Geno Smith in deep ball completions the past 3 years has finished 3, 9, and 5. Deontay Thornton sneaks up on everybody and winds up being the number 2 or 3 rookie wide receiver and the number 2 target in Las Vegas.
I'm going to say fact because this wide receiver class wasn't too great. I don't know. There's a lot of mouths to feed over there now, and it's a new system. That would be the only thing that holds me back from there. But I'll say fact. It's possible.
Swaggy says, who?
Deontay Thornton, don't sleep on him and take him late in your draft. You'll be happy. And thank me
Yeah,
later.
I mean, I'll just for fun, I'm going to say fact. I mean, Jacoby Myers is good. He's not great. There's Jack Beck's a rookie, so he might
Right.
it might take him a long time to get integrated in the
Jack Beck might be better than him too. Yeah.
Outside of Brock Bowers, I'd say that targets are pretty much up for grabs in Las Vegas. I mean, nobody really stands out to me. So if this kid ends up being like a freak of nature athlete and Geno Smith's really good at getting the ball to him downfield, then sure, yeah, he could easily be.
I mean, I found that pretty interesting being 6'5" and running a 4.3 40 and only two other running wide receivers, Metcalf and
What does he weigh? How much does he weigh?
You know what? I don't know.
DK Metcalf's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a freak. Let's see. Deontay Thornton Jr. He weighs 205 pounds. So he's pretty much
a little skinny, a little on the light side, but
little skinny, but not
for 6'5". Yeah, that's pretty skinny.
He's not 6'4", broski. Check it. There's a big difference. That's why I put that in there. DK Metcalf, Kelvin Johnson were 6'4". He's 6'5" and ran a 4.3 40, which is absurd at 205 pounds. I'm gonna say, as far as rookie wide receivers go, I think he's gonna have ample opportunity, and I am going to say fantasy fact. And this will be one of these kids I'm looking for a little bit later on in the draft, somewhere for you guys later on in the draft. If you need a stash, take them, because I guarantee a lot of the people in your league, unless they're diving deep like we are, they're not going to hear about this kid. So
yeah, they're going to focus on Beck and Gentry and Jacoby Myers.
When you told me about this kid, what was it, about a month ago now, you started talking to me about, it was the first time I ever heard of him, and I dive deep. I dive deep. I looked at a lot of players in the draft, and I Thornton. I mean, maybe I'd heard the name before, but certainly I hadn't heard like this guy's going to be one of the best.
He's lighting it up, and he's lighting it up in Raiders camp. So he might have some opportunity. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't.
That's the great thing about being a rookie on a team that's not loaded with talent. Every position is up for grabs. So yeah, if he steps up and takes it, sure, yeah, I'll put him up there.
And our last two are going to be Bears questions. So Bears fans, brace yourself here. The Bears finish the 2025 season, and Kyle, we've talked about this ad nauseum, with 2 1,000-yard receivers.
Fact.
Oh, God, I have to go fiction because it's just so rare. So rare for teams to have 2,000-yard, 1,000-yard receivers. Yeah, I mean, one of them could miss 3 games, and then he's at 900, then he's at 938 yards. You know, it just doesn't happen. It's so rare that a team has 2,000-yard receivers. I'm gonna go fiction, but certainly don't think it's because of lack of talent by Caleb Williams, Roman Dunze, or DJ Moore. I just think it's going to be one of those situations where Sean, when I did the projections for the Bears season, I had them both over 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
but that's as individuals, right? Like if somebody gets hurt, then they're pretty much out of the race in the NFL. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if DJ has 1,290 yards and Rowe ends up with 999. Like that, I wouldn't surprise me any way, shape, or form.
That would suck.
And you know what?
I pretty much 1,000.
I didn't say it had to be Cole. I didn't say it had to be Rome and DJ. It could be Luther Burden.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I understand.
It could be Colson Loveland.
I understand the question. It's just so rare. It's so Sean, you know me, I play the odds more than anybody in the world. I never hated Bryce Young, but football's been around since 1926, and 3 quarterbacks under 6 foot have won Super Bowls, and thousands of quarterbacks have played in the NFL. So just by default, I'm assuming Bryce Young's never going to win a Super Bowl, right? I think that's the smart way to play the odds. Them getting 2,000-yard receivers, that's just a rare feat in the NFL. Happens very rarely. So now that there's 17 games, it should definitely get easier. Should get easier for these guys, but I just wouldn't be surprised at all if Roman Dunze or DJ Moore has to miss 3 games with a high ankle sprain or something like that. Wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form.
And Broski Bear says, my Raiders friend was calling Deontay Thornton the next Randy Moss. I was calling him Brian Thomas. There's some buzz around this kid in other camps. So keep an eye on him.
Broski knows him.
So final question of the day before we put a bow on the show, boys. He's back with Ben Johnson, the guy who coached him to his most efficient season. He has an upgraded line, and we kind of talked about it. I shouldn't say no serious competition. DeAndre Swift finishes with 1,500 yards from scrimmage this season. That could be 1,000 yards rushing, 500 receiving, 8 and 7, however you want to get there.
You did a good job, man. You're like Vegas, bro. You're like right on that line. Like,
listen, 1,500 yards is not going to all-purpose yards. It's not going to put him in a top 10 situation.
I didn't say top 10. I just said.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a fact. I think that's very doable because I think he will be a bit more involved in the running game, especially if we're on structure, we're throwing to our check downs. Typically going to be a tight end or a running back. I think that's very, very possible. I think you might see him in the slot a little bit too. So, will he have – he might not even have 1,000 yards rushing. If there are other running backs are as good, he might have 900 yards rushing and, 600 yards receiving.
That's fiction for me, man. I don't think DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift's going to be somewhere around 800 yards rushing, 850 yards rushing. I think most of the rushing duties are going to fall on Roschon Johnson, Calvin guy, and not to mention the fact. So Ben Johnson has seen DeAndre. He's played with DeAndre Swift before. When he was with DeAndre Swift in Detroit, Swift averaged 7 touches a game one season. He got hurt multiple times, so Ben was like, "Hey, let's lighten the workload a little bit for this guy." And on top of that, I just think he's going to be more involved in the pass. He had 253 carries last year, guys. That's not going to happen. DeAndre Swift is not getting 253 carries this year. On top of that, I think the Bears are going to be a more pass-happy team, and I don't think I know Swift's going to catch the ball from time to time, and he'll probably end up with somewhere around 400 yards receiving, 500 yards receiving, somewhere between there. But I think they're going to pass the ball a lot more, and they're not going to have to rely so heavily on the run game and DeAndre Swift, although they will run the ball. But you're going to see a lot of Kyle Monangai and a lot of Roschon Johnson. He's good. So he got 253 carries last year, DeAndre Swift. What do you guys think he's going to get this year?
Probably around the 200 mark, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 200, 215, 210, 215.
Yeah,
I think he'll finish with 800 yards rushing, 800, 900 yards rushing, 850 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving.
Well, the one thing I did take away from camp, and I pointed this out to you, Kyle, and they did this in multiple sets, and if they do this and they exploit a mismatch because that DeAndre Swift does have nice soft hands to catch the football. They were spreading
pass catcher.
They were in open field.
Well, they were spreading in practice when we were at Soldier. They were sending the Monangai and Roschon Johnson, splitting them out wide. So if there's sets where he has those opportunities to line up,
they did it with him too.
So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be on the fantasy fact on this because I think that.
Well, then you better draft this guy in the third round.
I think splash plays for him are going to be huge. They're going to be huge, and he's going to have a bunch in this offense.
He's been 1,000-yard rusher once in his career.
Yep.
He's been on Ben Johnson's offense before. He was traded out of Detroit, probably with the permission of Ben Johnson. He never rushed for 1,000 yards in Detroit. He's always dealt with injuries. Ben Johnson knows that history. He knows that past. I think he's going to lighten the workload for him. I like DeAndre Swift. I think he's the most dangerous player in the Bears running back room. I just don't think he's going to be given the opportunities to have over 1,500 all-purpose yards. I just don't. I don't think he's going to get that opportunity.
Okay. That's fair enough.
If he was given more carries, if he was given 20 carries a game, I think he could. But I don't think he's going to get 20 carries a game. I think he's going to get 12.
He finished at what was this 959, and he finished 1,200 yards from scrimmage last year, so that's going up 300 yards.
It is a bit of a push to ask, but I think it's definitely possible. That's why I was a fact.
He finished with 1345 last year in a shit offense. I think 1,500 is very doable. 1345, man. That's
but like we said, you have to make the adjustment. So he also finished with 253 carries last year, the most in his career. That's going to go down. Under Ben Johnson, that's going to go down. Ben Johnson gave him 7 a game in Detroit.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen here because I think he's going to be the most trusted first back, lead back.
I mean, it depends. I mean, you've been telling us for the last 2 months that Roschon Johnson's going to be a stud. If that's the case, then he doesn't need to carry the ball.
If Roschon Johnson pans out, then that would put a dent into it.
Yeah,
going into the season,
I think somebody in that room is going to pan out.
I'll say going into the season to say that Roschon or DeAndre Swift needs 155 more yards to get there after what he did last year. I say it's very doable. That's what I'll say. I think it's very doable. I mean, and he didn't have 1,000 yards rushing. He can
Has
have
he ever had 1,500 yards, all-purpose yards? Did he do that in Philly? Because he was a 1,000-yard rusher in Philly, but I don't think he had. Did he have over 500 receiving yards?
He had. No,
Philly's really good.
He had 214. Actually, with Philly, the year he was with Philly was his lowest receiving yards of his career. He's been over almost 4. He's been at or around 400 every year except for the year with Philadelphia.
Yeah, and
357, 452, 389, 386.
Yeah, and those are his only this year and last year. You have the numbers in front of you. This year and last year are his only healthy seasons, correct?
13, 13, 14, 16, 17.
Yeah, so if he plays 13 games, he ain't get no 1,500 yards.
Yeah, he missed 2 games with Philadelphia. He missed no games with the Bears. Detroit, he missed a lot.
Yeah, Detroit, he was hurt constantly, and that's the DeAndre Swift that Ben Johnson knows and remembers. That's that guy who constantly missed time.
Hey, Kyle, I just looked it up. There's been actually the 08 Cardinals and the 04 Colts had 3 wide receivers get more than 1,000 yards.
So that's 2 teams?
Well, there's more than that have had 2, but the 08 Cardinals had Fitzgerald, Goldwood, and Steve Preston all surpassed 1,000 yards.
I'll tell you this.
No, it happens.
04 Colts had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Brandon Stokely all get over 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, so let's see, guys. So
if 3 wide receivers have 1,000 yards, they're going to be the greatest show on the lakefront.
So let's see.
We're going to be calling them.
Jason, I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you, but there's probably a team with 2 1,000-yard receivers every other year. One team every other year.
Oh shit! Hang on.
I'd be hard-pressed to imagine it's going to be the Chicago Bears. Out of all 32 teams in the NFL, the Chicago Bears are going to magically have 2 1,000-yard receivers when they never even have a quarterback throw over 4,000 yards. That's a massive leap.
I'm fantasy fiction on that. I'm fantasy fiction.
I don't even know if Caleb throws 3,900 yards, I'll be happy. But that's not going to get 2 receivers 1,000 yards.
All right, boys. We're gonna put a wrap on this show. A little exciting announcement. I meant to do it earlier in the show as the crowd's dwindling down, so no one's really going to hear it. But next week we're going to have a special guest on the show, Brendan Shagru. He works for the Chicago Bears Wire, and he's also a co-host on the Irish Bears Show Network. If you guys don't check those guys out, definitely do. He's very knowledgeable individual. So we will have him on the show to talk Bears with us. And I tried to get him on the Monday show. Unfortunately, Monday he has obligations to his own show that he already does. So Monday doesn't work out for him. So he will be with us next week, and that should be a good time. We'll have him for the first 30 minutes. Get a lot of Bears information out of him. He's very knowledgeable. Find him on Twitter. He is very, very knowledgeable, and I'm very excited that he is willing to join us next week. So that's very exciting. But until then, we got
Fuck Green Bay! 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 Yes, sir!
And don't forget, boys and girls, tomorrow we have Burning the Midnight Oil with Dustin and Brandon on the bare minimum. We'll be back on Saturday to break down whatever we got left of the Chicago Cubs season. That's going to be a fun, maybe. I think the show's we're going to change it from the Northside 9 to 2 depressed Cub fans.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a light at the end. The Cubs are going to be a very good team in a couple of years when all these prospects make it out. Even if only a handful of them pan out.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Everyone, get your popcorn ready.
Look at Sean. Look what the White Sox have done with a handful of prospects in 1 year.
Yeah, they look really good.
In 1 year.
I'll tell you this. I'm not discounting the Cubs. I still think they can make a run at the division if the bats can turn it around. But Kyle, as we knew, the pitching has been solid, but not great. And when they're not hitting, it's just adding way too much stress on an okay pitching staff. and the recipe has been disaster over the past what?
Yeah,
4
it's time for the big boys to show
No.
up. It's time for PCA and Kyle Tucker. It's time for these guys to be. If Kyle Tucker wants $600 million, he needs to be the guy who pulls this team out of the gutter. That's what. That's why you pay a $600 million guy. You're like, all right, yeah, but I know you're very expensive, but you're that guy. You know, you're Michael Jordan. He's not even Scottie Pippen right now, bro. Like,
No. All right, everybody. Hey, everybody in the chat, you guys are fire. Broski Bear.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
You guys killed it today, dude.
Yeah,
Killed
absolutely. We love y'all. We thank you all. Calvin, you showed up late, but you showed up with fire, so we appreciate that as always, man. You know, Illinois
Swaggy,
Jones.
thanks, man.
Yeah, everybody in the chat.
Broski,
Even Anthropology
John
2000.
Romy.
I don't know if you guys know, but I don't think
Illinois
Anthropology
Jones,
likes Caleb
Nicholas
Williams.
Bruce.
I just get this feeling.
Yeah.
Jeremy K, I believe, is the first time.
Jeremy K.
Yeah, Jeremy K, what's up, dude?
Thanks for joining the show, man. Dustin and Brandon were here, 2 4 stars to themselves.
Swaggy, thank you for
everybody,
joining
man.
the
V Dog, Samo's been awesome since he's joined the show here. Squeegee, Dante's one of our faves, man.
Yeah,
Trey's always a faithful, loyal commentator. Don Burr, Notorious. I mean, there's so many. You guys are so amazing. You guys have become such faithful listeners that I don't even. It would take me 20 minutes to get through the list of listeners here today. And we appreciate that, guys. Honestly,
you guys are great.
We do this solely to have conversations with people just like you guys, man. That's why we do this podcast.
And please,
it's a blast. We're enjoying ourselves, and lately we've been killing it. And it's due in large part to you guys, man. We appreciate it.
Due in part to this chat and you guys, this community. That you guys are phenomenal, and Swaggy, we really appreciate that.
And like due in part like this much to Rick and News Bruce. I'm messing with you, Bruce. I'm messing.
That's right. That's right. You get it.
All right, everybody. Bear down. We love y'all, and don't forget, check out the Bare Minimum tomorrow. And if you can't stay up late, check them out on your way to work, dude. They're a lot of fun. Until then, peace and love, and bear down, everybody.